25 years of unbroken democracy this week, how much is the message being amplified that the resourcefulness of its people has been stretched to the absolute stunning limit as they confront this country's worst economic crisis in a generation? Add to this the perception that the government is at best unresponsive, and you can see why people feel that after a quarter of a century, democracy, rather than fill them with hope and optimism, is undermining their aspirations and testing the strength and resilience of their democratic institutions. And as they watch President Tinubu, who likes to style himself as the reforming president, insist on tough medicine to deal with this country's economic chaos, they wonder, why isn't he persuading his fellow politicians and senior officials to take that medicine? He tells the people in his Democracy Day speech that he feels their pain and will not abandon them, but in their minds, his reforms are attacking and punishing the people, while government officials and senior politicians continue to live large. So after 25 years of democracy, is Nigeria reordering itself in a quite menacing way? I'll be joined in the studio by a panel of top-notch analysts who will explore what democracy means in Nigeria today. I'm Charles Enyegolu, and this is Arise Prime Time. So the last quarter of a century culminating in this week's Democracy Day reflections as millions scan the democratic horizon with a growing sense of foreboding amid the destabilizing impact of this country's escalating economic crisis. Millions searching for the elusive dividends of democracy, many revolting against and revolted by the obscene benefits that continue to accrue to this country's politicians in the midst of so much suffering. The streets of parts of Nigeria's commercial city, Lagos, were engulfed in serious protests against Mr. Tinubu's reforms and the resulting spiral of economic misery, so many living below the poverty line. So after a quarter of a century of democracy, the pain is widespread and the facts are depressing. 2 years ago, Nigeria was Africa's biggest economy, but this year the country is projected to drop to 4th place as Nigerians continue to generate their own electricity, source their own water, arm themselves to defend their own communities, and negotiate with kidnappers when family members are abducted. So how much worse could it get?
5 years of uninterrupted democracy, and to me it means a lot. Democracy ordinarily supposed to be government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And we want to see that in full display. So today, I will proudly say democracy is growing, though it's not growing the way it's supposed to grow. But then we want to thank God Almighty for the kind of leadership that we're having, especially in Plateau State. We have someone who is trying his best to see that he works in the best interest of the people.
For the past years, I would say we've experienced democracy in the aspect of freedom of speech, projects, development, and other things.
Knowledge about democracy. The freedom I enjoy today, it is the benefit of democracy.
The opportunity where the umpire, being the INEC, will be independent, free to conduct free and fair elections. With this, you see credible candidates will emerge winners in election, and that will in return make them to work hard to satisfy the people.
Well, let's begin our assessment of those 25 years of unbroken democracy in Nigeria. And with me in the studio to do that, our panel of experts, the political analyst and executive director of Development Specs Academy, Professor Oke Ikechukwu, who's a member of the editorial board of this day newspaper and is also a professor of strategic management and human capital development. The policy strategist and group CEO of the global investment and trade company, Baba Yusuf, who is in our off-site studio, and the current affairs analyst and dean of the School of Postgraduate Studies at Bayesian Jet, Professor Abiodun Adi. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for joining us. And let me come to you first, Professor Oke Ikechukwu. Of course, it's not just 25 years of unbroken democracy, it's also June 12th, which is the anniversary of the 1993 ballot, considered the freest and fairest election in Nigeria's history. So it's a day that's become a symbol of this country's democratic aspirations.
Yes, that is true. On June 12, Nigerians went out to vote. The two candidates contesting were both Muslim candidates. Nobody paid attention to that. So if somebody was to speak, were to speak with a sense of history, it marked the day when Nigerians voted as Nigerians for a man they believe represented their best interests. Unfortunately, that election was annulled. And if you recall, it took quite a lot of struggle and protest. The most informed, the most patriotic, the most devoted Nigerians, some of us then, younger than we are now. I was at that time on the editorial board of The Guardian. We wrote, there were riots, among other things. The point to note is that not only did June 12th mark a major indication that Nigerians are capable of being objective in their voting, it also laid the foundation for a precipitous decline in patriotism, in national cohesion and national integration, because with the decay of that victory, cannibalized by the elite and not the people who voted, faith in the Nigerian state declined, faith in those who were behind it declined. It began with a lot of people saying on June 12 we stand, very respected individuals. After a while, it turned out that on June 12 they sat instead of standing. Eventually on June 12 they began to feed because they were then settled and given positions, and all of a sudden they were speaking in tongues. So that was something. And no, anybody who wants to reciprocate June 12 should go and check the profile of Abiola, who won that election. He was known all over the country. There sadly was a Muslim, but in the most remote communities, you find that he contributes to the building of churches, to the welfare of people, etc. So that's that. That marked a period. We lost that opportunity and spiraled downwards. Now, coming to 25 years after that, some of the commentators say that democracy is for the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Some would say that no, you see, it's not government of the people in Nigeria, but I disagree. If you look at the inception of this democracy from inception in 1999, and you look at the cost of forms, that's what do you call it now? If you want to contest, you pay for a form and collect. Who can afford it? Only the elite. Who can be around those who will contest? Only the elite. So it is actually correct to say it is government of the people. But most of the time of the people who can pay. Then for the people who can also pay, and in the interest of those who can pay. You made a reference in your opening remarks to the entitlements and privileges of those in public office. You can say they are not Nigerians. They are people who are feeding fat on the people, so they are benefiting from democracy. It's a government of the people who are part of a national conspiracy, who are having a good time at the expense of everyone else. So the question of definition of people is central to the perception of the kind of democracy we are having. Right. And is it their fault? You come to me, elections are about to take place, you give me 5,000 and I vote for you. I have sold my life up front, which means for the next 4 years, I am worth 1,250 naira. I've already collected the money up front. So you see that.
I just got paid $60,000 for my car crash from using this app on my phone. And I don't know if you could see this.
By the kind of electoral behavior we exhibit, we also sold off our rights to demand accountability upfront. So put June 12 on one side, the best of what we could demonstrate as Nigerians, speaking with one voice, 25 years of democracy, progressive deterioration at two levels. At the level of the fundamentals of democracy, which is democratic values, and at the level of incidentals of democracy, which is material welfare, security, etc.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. And Professor Adeniyi, just keeping in mind what Professor Ikechukwu was saying there, that there is a sense that voter choice, which is the essence of democratic elections, is slowly, steadily, in fact, ebbing away. What are the signs that you're seeing in Nigeria, positive and negative, after 25 years of unbroken democracy?
Oh, okay, well, I think it's okay for us to first of all put things in context, at least from our point of view. First, 25 years is not a joke, something that deserves some level of celebration, which we have been in for the past 48 hours, so to say. Yeah, but beyond that, we also have to realize that democracy comes with some sides. One, sometimes we want to look at the tangible benefits. Sometimes we also think about the intangible. When we talk about the tangible, we're talking about infrastructure. We're talking about utilities. The most talked about dividends of democracy that we often mouth. But beyond the physical, tangible benefits, which can also come through any other form of government, be it the military, dictatorial, theocratic states, or such other types of government, is also the need for us to be mindful of the intangible, which is the values, enshrined in democracy itself. And what are these values? We're talking about freedom of speech, freedom of expression. We're talking about inclusion, integration, representation. And of course, those values, are things that we need to focus on, which makes a difference, between democracy and other forms of government. But to what extent will we now say that 25 years down the line, we've been able to achieve those other values, ingrained in democracy, which is not in other forms of government? I would say that yes, we've done well in terms 25 years down the line, in terms of longevity, but in terms of content and character of these values and the development, the evolution of this value, we will say we still have miles to cover. And of course, how do we make amends? What do we do to cover those miles? Well, we have to engender credibility, integrity in the electoral process, and beyond that, we have to ensure there is an increased inclusion, and who are those that are excluded? Of course, women are still excluded, and of course, the vulnerable are still excluded as well. And of course, what about those who do not have the means, those who are not empowered, so to say, those, who are excluded from the race on account of their poor or low war chest? How do we create the enabling environment so that we can have increased representation, I beg your pardon. Then what about disenfranchisement, during voting, violence, and such other things that seems to dent the credibility of the electionary process, which is an important integral part of democracy itself, as the case could be. So we need to focus on these things, and of course, if we focus on them, then we can begin to increase our level of celebration beyond just talking about democracy, in a vacuum, as the case could be.
Okay, thanks for that, Prof. Let me come to you, Baba Yusuf. I'm afraid we've marooned you in our offsite studio, which is not usual, but thank you very much indeed for joining us. I hope you were able to hear the conversation, the discussion taking place. What is your sense of the intricacies and the tensions that have come up in those 25 years?
It's a bittersweet moment for us in Nigeria. Like the two professors mentioned, the build-up to democracy and the sacrifices made by the vanguards. But looking on the past 25 years to say, how have we fared? I totally agree, recognizing the intangible values of freedom of expression, of association. But more importantly, I consider democracy a process that should churn out, products, if you like, or dividends. And what are those dividends? Justice, equity, good economics, social economics, and also a sense of belonging by all. Have we achieved that? No. If you look at the indices, when the Fourth Republic started in 1999, and look at the indices now, you will see with nostalgia how bad things have become. Interestingly, 1999 was when the military, handed over to the Fourth Republic. So if we are doing an evaluation and we dimension the issues, while we say we are looking forward to better governance during the Fourth Republic from 1999, we have rather been marooned, to borrow your words, Charles, to the roadblocks that I call roadblocks of insecurity, bad socio-economics, and all the indices that have gone negative. going forward. Of course, if I go back as also to reflect on the good side, we have had successful transition, from an administration that had over to government in power. And interestingly, we have also seen where an incumbent at national and subnational have been upstaged by opposition parties or coalition of political parties. So I will say in that regard, the polity is evolving, our democracy is evolving, but I believe also we should have done better in the past 25 years. The political class have failed. But to add to what Professor Oke said, I totally agree. But to expand that conversation, like I always say, we, the elites, and in this case, not just the political class, have been serially failing Nigerians because we have been part of the value chain of leadership. And of course, like I say many times in my write-ups, we have been part of the corruption value chain. We enable the politicians to do what they have been doing to us, either as security agents or as public servants or civil servants. And going forward, we should expand the conversation to stop only looking at the political leaders, to also include the quote-unquote elites that are sitting, in the civil service, public service, enabling corruption, supporting what has been going on while the country is going backwards, and then we can sit down comfortably and continue pointing at quote-unquote the political class. Going forward, that conversation should expand, and we should take part of the responsibility of the failures we have been experienced thus far.
Well, thank you for that, Baba Yusuf. We'll come back to you in a hot second, but let me come to you, Professor Oke Ikechukwu, because of course, as a professor, you talk to a lot of people, students, as well as board members. I mean, you're a member of the board of this day newspaper, so you kind of cross various lines and so on. I mean, as you reflect on those 25 years of unbroken democracy, what would you say is taking up the bandwidth of concern in this country at the moment?
What's taking up and creating a lot of concern is the growing perception of elite insensitivity and elite irresponsibility. And in the midst of all of that, you find that the incumbent government is being blamed for things that took more than a decade to mature. So people are responding to the present, and not enough of the people reacting have the sophistication to view the issues with a sense of history. And I'll just take a simple matter. You speak of dividends of democracy. Let's talk about roads. Between 1999 and when was it the PDP had made over? 2015. Now the road from Abuja to Kaduna, which is ordinarily a 1.5 hour trip, you'll do it for 3 hours. That road was bad for the 8 years the government was in power. If you're going from here to Lokoja, sections of that road was bad. If you're going beyond Lokoja from Ajokuta to Ayamba, the road was bad throughout that period. If you take Makodi or Topa, wherever, the roads were bad. If you say, okay, no, let me go to the east, let me do Port Harcourt Enugu Expressway, sections were bad throughout. Onitsha, Enugu, the same thing, Okene Road, Ikotekpene, all over the Federation. For 16 years, those roads were bad. For the 8 years of Buhari, most of them were still bad. As we speak, they have not, and these were things budgeted for. So when we are saying, oh, we're angry with the government, let us also know that the correct statement is we're angry with the ruling elite. And we can't pin everything down on a government of the day. Having said that, and having chosen that example, those things stand out. But we must also admit that in the midst of all of this, even if it's only 1%, there are a few people in public office, either as governors, as senators, as members of the House of Representatives or House of Assembly, who are doing their best to set good example. They are a minority, but we can't pretend they don't exist. Now, what creates a problem for all of them as a group is that with the increase in poverty, suffering, and insecurity, the visible comfort and luxury of those in public office has an offensive smell in the public nostril. I mean, we knew about 160 million vehicles to secure them because of criminality all over the place. We see checkpoints everywhere. We hear of soldiers being killed. The first one was the Niger State one. A plane, I think, was shot down carrying 20 officers, if my figures are correct. These are not chicken dying on the road. These are people who took the country a lot of expense. They are the core professionals. If anything were to happen in the US today, the inner state emerges, which is the military and the security agencies, and restore order and then move back again. Do we have an inner state? We have, by civilian misconduct, comprehensively stigmatized those who actually stand to defend the territorial integrity of Nigeria. So in the last 20, 25 years, what has happened is that civilian administrative incompetence has created for the military job they don't need to be doing. Manning checkpoints. A soldier is trained to take down an object. He's not trained to arrest anybody and detain him. Now we're demobilizing our soldiers by putting them in places. You say, oh, insurgents have surrendered. We are de-radicalizing them. Soldiers, that's on one side. At another level, you have the numbers are thinning. They are not being sufficiently replenished. So if you put it all together,
Right.
you would say, no, it is not looking good.
Okay.
But the solution is not to go around saying bad things about your country. Positive suggestions. There are things that can be done differently, and I hope we'll get to that point eventually.
Right. Okay. Let me come to you, Professor Adeniyi. Let's talk a little bit about living standards in those 25 years, because I think Professor Okechukwu touched on that. Living standards are supposed to be part of the dividends of democracy. Have they?
So we made a point, that if it was just a question of living standards, physical aspect of the benefit of democracy, then of course we may not necessarily associate it with democratic dispensation alone. But be that as it may, we also know that if you look at it critically, it's been declining, and of course it has plummeted even in the last 1 year on account of the reforms of the new administration. The liberalization of, the removal of subsidy on fuel, removal of subsidy on foreign exchange, removal of subsidy on the ban of electricity. Of course, this has created shock. Yes, we know the government is trying, said they're concerned about, bringing about the interplay of market forces. Market forces is fine, for a quasi-capitalist state like Nigeria, it's in order, but we also know that we don't have the structures and institutions to withstand unbridled forces of the market, and that's why we're having this momentary, emergent, devastating decline in the standard of living of the people. But where the hope lies is just in the pronouncement or the projections of economists, that of course, when you have this kind of reform, you can only hope that in another 2 or 3 years, there will be improvement. But again, I will insist that we may not necessarily associate it with the democratic dispensation. This kind of reform can also come in any other kind of administration. Of course, we once had it. There was a time in this country where we had the structural adjustment policy, and we knew what it did to us, what it did to our economy. And so sometimes arguments arrive, that of course our economy started declining. From the introduction of SAP in this country, sometimes in the 80s, in the period of President Ibrahim Babangida. So, the point we need to also emphasize is that, yes, we know, the point has been made severally that democracy is not necessarily a destination, but a journey. And of course, for you to deal with democracy, you have to continue to be democratic. And of course, it's a journey that is continuous, can hardly be perfect. All the time we cite the example of the United States of America as the bastion of democracy. We know that. 1776, they started 1776, more than 2 centuries after, they are still struggling with some aspects of it. Yes, we know the institutions are strong, but there are still reasons for them to try to aspire to perfection. If we want to talk about the best democracies in the world, we keep talking about it. The Nordic Scandinavia countries will take it. But again, that does not mean they are also still perfect. Our own limitation rests in the fact of what we keep talking about, which is leadership. And how do we change the narrative around leadership? We need leadership, that will match words with action, leadership that will walk their talk, leadership that will present the right optics so that the people can be galvanized in the right direction. And when point A is made and we'll see action reflected in point B, it becomes problematic. You see deviation. And of course, people find it difficult, to fall in line with in the direction in which the leaders want to lead them. But I think it's about discipline, it's about re-engineering our values, it's about commitment, and it's about a determination to leave legacies. Legacies cannot just be left in physical infrastructure alone. It can be left, yes, in patterns and particularities, peculiarities of leadership. Behavior pattern of the leaders, such that we can have long-lasting example that people can abide by, and change the course of things.
Well, thank you, Prof. Although I have to point out that it sounds like a broken record, because, I mean, although the points you're making are very salient, but those same points have been made at different times in those 25 years and beyond. And as Professor Okechukwu was saying, the roads are still bad, and they're still, so, it's a rather depressing story.
And because the problem is still there, we'll still have to continue to make the points on
they
are remedied.
I agree, but I think we should be much harder and in making those points, especially to the people who've been charged and who have consistently failed to do what they're supposed to do. But we'll talk more about that. We'll come back to you, Baba Yusuf, but we do have to take a break. You're watching Arise Prime Time. Plenty more still ahead as we continue our discussion about what democracy means in Nigeria today. Stay with us. Welcome back to Arise Prime Time, where we offer perspectives on the news and talking points of the day. I'm Charles Aniegolu. Now, as Nigeria marks 25 years of unbroken democracy this week, how much is the message being amplified that the resourcefulness of its people has been stretched to the absolute limit? As they confront this country's worst economic crisis in a generation, the perception appears to be that the government is unresponsive. And you can see why people feel that after a quarter of a century, democracy, rather than fill them with hope and optimism, is undermining their aspirations and testing the strength and resilience of their democratic institutions. And as they watch President Tinubu, who likes to style himself as a reforming president, insist on tough medicine to deal with this country's economic chaos, they wonder, why isn't he persuading his fellow politicians and senior officials to take that medicine? He tells the people in his Democracy Day speech that he feels their pain and will not abandon them, but in their minds, his reforms are attacking and punishing the people, while government officials and senior politicians continue to consume conspicuously. And with me in the studio, as we continue our assessment of 25 years of unbroken democracy in this country, our panel of expert commentators, the political analyst and executive director of Development Specs Academy, Professor Okechukwu, who's a member of the editorial board of This Day newspaper, and is also a professor of strategic management and human capital development, the policy strategist and group CEO of the Global Investment and Trade Company, Baba Yusuf, and the current affairs analyst and dean of the School of Postgraduate Studies at Bayes University in Abuja, Professor Abiodun Adeniyi. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for staying with us. And let me come to you, Baba Yusuf, because we had to take a break and we couldn't come to you earlier. We've been talking about the politicians, and I'm wondering what, if anything, are they doing to improve matters in this country as the wound keeps bleeding, as it were? Is there a credible plan that you see for getting Nigeria growing again? Or is the planning system itself appallingly sclerotic?
Thank you very much for landing on that planning, and to add to that, strategy. We take a step back to look at the current administration. A lot of missteps, a lot of reversals of decisions, a lot of cross-purposes actions and policies that are in complete parallel to the renewed hope manifesto of President Tinubu and his reiteration of ensuring that he delivers his mandate. In my strong opinion, the fundamental issue is lack of thoroughly thought out strategic blueprints that would drive the agenda of this administration. You hear a lot of our policies. I dare say that policies are supposed to be, derived from an overarching strategy, and all the other sectorial drivers should derive their strategies from an overarching strategy to ensure there will be policy coordination, there will be policy coherence, and there will be practicality in what they do. I see a lot of living in a bubble kind of policies churned out by this administration, with due respect. But of course, it is not the sole fault of this administration. It has been the bane of our development, Charles. We've had a lot of cases where we have some national development plans or some strategies that have been, crafted, and then they end up gathering dust somewhere. There is no sure-footedness in following through with those strategies or reviewing them or measuring performance. With regards to the Tinubu's administration, he set up a performance matrix for this administration. And I think there is need for them, as a matter of urgency, if they don't have an overarching strategy, to ensure they have one. Unless you have a strategy in this kind of crisis, you can't go into battle without strategy. And you must be sure that you have a blueprint with a roadmap that would take us to where you say you're going to take us. What I see is silo activities by minister. If you take, for example, even from the performance reviews that have taken place last week, you see self-appraisals and you don't see connectivities established by this sector to show us that they are really, working in a way, a manner that they are all moving in a direction that is based on a strategy. So like you said, a lack of a purposefully thought out plan. And you can see it playing out with the removal of the oil subsidy and the outcomes and the impacts, as they are unfolding. I dare say, if things are not done, drastically to change this, things are going to get worse. So the first step, recognizing the 1 year in office of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is to go back and sit on the drawing board real quick, 2 days, 3 days, to come up with ways forward. Because the indices on one side may tell us projections. I am a student of strategy, and I believe performance, like I always say in this studio and elsewhere, should be measured by impacts and outcomes and not by events. And therefore, going forward, they need to go back to the drawing board to ensure that. The recruitment process also is very important, Charles. If you don't have round pegs and round holes, what happens is they take you back, decades behind in delivering what you promise people. And what that does to the entire process is you have 1 or 2 weaklings that will bring down the entire house and the entire administration. So it is very critical that going forward we have that. We heard about the $1 trillion economy. How is that going to happen if you don't have a blueprint that will drive that delivery? But before the $1 trillion economy, we have insecurity, we have the socio-economic vagaries hitting us. What are the short-term interventions, with regards to this, rather than the bric-a-brac and running into each other policies that we are seeing that are countermanding the mantra, going forward?
To you, Professor Okechukwu, let's just move the conversation back to the issue of the evolution of democracy. I think what worries people the most is that Nigerian democracy still appears to be a wounded beast after 25 straight years. I mean, you would have thought that the healing and recovery process would be well underway after the reforms that led to Goodluck Jonathan being removed as incumbent president for the first time in Nigeria's history. But we're still talking about ballot box snatching. Somebody was making that point here. Election results being written and manipulated by the most unsavory characters imaginable, who then become politically elected people. And there's that fundamental lack of trust in the election process. So that's absolutely inexcusable, or should be, after 25 years of democracy.
Well, we can only say it's inexcusable if the people's political maturity has moved up in 25 years. Democracy and the practice of democracy is, first of all, a state of consciousness. I know that my decision will determine whether Charles will be in charge of this studio. And I know Charles is the best. But there's this person who smokes in the studio, does a lot of other things, and he buys us drinks. and we make him head of the studio. So first of all, whereas it's true we can complain about the elites, there's a fundamental point to make about the quality of political followership, the level of political consciousness, the dissociation between political decisions and political outcomes and economic outcomes. Now, if you bring out somebody, let's suppose Biodun here goes to contest in his village, in his community, he wants to run for House of Assembly, he's a professor. Apparently, he's had the experience that will probably, not because he's a professor, because I will make that distinction. People make the unfortunate mistake of assuming that once you call somebody a professor that is competent, most of the time he only has information about a particular discipline with no experience whatever. He can tell you everything there is about it, and you mistake that for capacity to govern. But in his own case, here is somebody, he has the information, he has the knowledge as practical, he can actually do proper administration. And he goes to his people and tells them how he can transform their lives in 2 out of 4 years, but that he'll be there for 4 years. I say, did you bring anything for us? He says, no, we're looking. They go to elect a contract. Now, it's easy for us to stand and analyze the misfortune of the quality of elite leadership. We're not paying attention that the very best will not find encouraged. So what type of soil do we have? Charles, this soil is not mature enough for the kind of leadership we're talking about.
Well, that may not be a fair thing to say.
No. I'm advancing the point further.
Because a lot of the people, those people have been impoverished as a result of the action. There's nowhere in the world where people don't live, if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, they don't live to survive if they have to live to survive.
Live that way. But I was advancing the point.
Okay.
Further. Now, that's the quality of followership you have. In that same environment, you bring a leader who sets totally new paradigms, refuses to succumb to the usual pressures. They ask him for money. He says, no, if I give you this money, there won't be anything for others or for things to govern with. So you see that, yes, the quality of followership is terrible. The level of political consciousness is low. But leadership is the litmus, the catalyst that brings a new level of consciousness. So the crisis is not that we're having terrible democracy. It's the fact that the people's level of consciousness, which is low, is not being aided to move up. Right. You are a father in your house, you have a lot of children that are demanding for sweet and ice cream. You know it's not good for their health. You abolish it, but you can make the concession and give it to them. In a short while, they will all be sick. Now, that's what we are having. Predominant leadership that lacks the knowledge of what it means to speak of development. Development is not about roots, it's about the human person. And a leader that invests in school buildings, but not in teachers, that will announce how much it has spent on education, but not indicate better outcomes in learning. That's a part of the crisis on the table. So the wrong paradigms are being used to measure progress, right, and the people are the worst for it. Okay. And to go back to your point, not only are they not advancing in consciousness, they are in addition totally overwhelmed by abject absolute poverty. And so desperation takes the place of rationality in their everyday life.
Well, Professor Adedi, a case of 1 step forward, 2 steps backwards, to use a cliche. I mean, a country, some suggest, that should be leading with free and fair elections still remains one of the worst performing in that respect. Is that a fair assessment?
No, it's an assessment. No, not with the way we are. But first, let me just assure Professor that I'm not going to contest yet until I grow up. So but you see, back to
drinking.
No, he hasn't actually. Let's be clear. That
okay, you've been drinking on his behalf.
He's very sober. So let's not give the audience the wrong impression.
Anyway, just back to your question, right? Yeah, right. I think it's an assessment, like I said, but even with the way we are now, we will be too generous if we think, or if we assess ourselves as maybe scoring an A or a B or a C, in the way we have performed so far in our elections, not just because of the controversies around the elections, but of course, because of the practical things that we see around it. And we have mentioned it earlier, disenfranchisement, voter apathy, violence, the manipulation of the process. But I also want to believe that if we have to bring any change to this democracy, really, we need our leaders to be largely disruptive. And disruption does not necessarily have to come with a new leader, but the leaders that are presently in power, have to be conscious about disrupting creating some kind of disruption, so that the narrative can change. But sometimes, if they lack the will, the citizens too, have to be galvanized, re-energized, to know that they have some power. And what is this power? The power lies in their ability, to call the leaders, to question, continuously put their feet to fire through the civil society, which has been doing fantastically well, some of them really, in the last couple of years. But of course, we know we need more effort in this direction. Because in the situation where leadership can easily become lethargic, compliant with the system story. Over the years, we've been talking about the same thing. The last 40, 50 years, we've been talking about corruption, we've been talking about nepotism, prebendalism, and all these things, they have continued. Even when those who started these problems, have long gone, we have seen new agencies, new human being populating the space, furthering the process. So why is this continuity happening? It's just about, how the problematic system, the bad, poor system has been elongated on account of our inability to subscribe to some salutary values. But for us to disrupt the process, we need a leader that is strong-willed, and of course that can be created at any point in time. And if the leader is not responsive enough, and this leadership may not necessarily be presidential leadership, it could come at different levels, And beyond that, of course, it's also for the citizens to be reawakened, constantly reawakened, not necessarily through dangerous protestation, but of course agitation, some levels of advocacy to remind the leaders of their responsibility compliant with the Leviathan.
Okay, Prof, thank you very much indeed. And sadly, it is at that point that we have to draw.
Una welcome, happy Friday to everybody, happy Friday, I hope you guys are keeping warm, I hope you guys are staying, cool, because when I say the sun don't relocate, like I said, but it's not so bad today, but 2 days ago it was like, what the hell, did the sun relocate from another direction? Now welcome, thank you very much for joining me today again with Dobale. Nigeria is Dobaling to all the scenarios. So we have a couple more videos. I have a couple more videos before we go into discussing about the issues. I wan play this David Hundeyin interview when he talk about aircraft abi our Nigerian airspace. So I wan make we hear am together.
No offense, but if you still think...
As you come in, please like the video, share. Oh, by the way, thank you so much to all my new subscribers. Una welcome, I appreciate the support, welcome. This is a fun channel. Yeah, we talk politics because that's what affects our daily life. So please join in the fights. All of us hand me today. But thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate you all and I welcome you on board. Thank you. All right.
Raised over the safety of the Nigerian airspace by investigative journalist David Hundeyin on his X handle on Friday. Hundeyin said that Nigeria has had no primary radar coverage in its airspace since 2021. And this, he said, means that when an aircraft in Nigeria's airspace turns off its transponder, like any aircraft smuggling guns, drugs, or conflict minerals would do, Nigerian air traffic controllers have no way of identifying the aircraft. He cited a memo from the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. Aircraft was over a recent incident where an unauthorized aircraft strayed into restricted areas in the airspace above the presidential villa in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. And joining us on the news to take a deeper bite into the story is the journalist David Hundeyin. David, it's nice to have you join us on the news.
Thank you for having me.
So let's begin with the main thrust of your post, which actually traced the historical developmental pattern of Nigeria and DR Congo to the same foundation that is getting independent on a platter. Of course, I'd like to find out what you mean in terms of this, of course, indication on it.
So the crux of what I was trying to communicate was that in my opinion, the most significant reason behind the continued systemic dysfunction in both countries is that the foundation that both countries had in terms of the independence that they got was not an independence that was actually won through some sort of broad-based struggle, but was actually sort of negotiated with the elites of those countries, and that the elites being the petty, immature people that they are, who are unable to work together, who are unable to share power, who are unable to see the bigger picture, shortly devolved into petty ethnic squabbling and fighting with each other, which led to military dictatorship and ultimately the destruction of both economies. And I drew a parallel between both countries, that there's a very striking parallel between the paths that the DRC and Nigeria have taken since their supposed independence in the both in the year 1960. Now, where this aviation memo that you referenced came into the conversation was that I was making the point that in addition to all the other similarities that these countries have, they are also both global hotspots for illegal arms smuggling, weapons trafficking, for drug smuggling, and for conflict minerals trafficking. And to back up this assertion, I showed a circular that was sent by the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority in April to all aircraft operators in Nigeria, where the NCAA basically said that they had received a notification from the Office of the National Security Advisor that an unidentified aircraft had been sighted in restricted airspace above the Aso Rock Presidential Villa. And the letter was essentially reminding aircraft operators to stay out of restricted airspace. Why I thought that it was interesting to flag this was that for the past few weeks, I've been going back and forth with people who are within the aviation system. Obviously, you know that I cover the aviation airspace in Nigeria as a journalist very frequently. And one of the consistent pieces of feedback that I keep on getting is that air traffic control in Nigeria, at least in the civil aviation space in Nigeria, is basically is by the grace of God, as we say, because since 2021, there has been no primary radar coverage in Nigeria's airspace. So there are two types of radar coverage. There's primary radar and a secondary radar. So basically, they're both supposed to work together. So what secondary radar gives you is just a general um, sense of positioning that an aircraft is there. Primary radar is what is able to specifically pinpoint the location, the exact location of an aircraft. Now, both types of radar are supposed to work together to create total radar coverage in Nigeria's airspace. So what primary radar gives you is the ability to pinpoint the location of an aircraft, even
Okay.
if it has turned off its transponder, right? And what I had been getting from my sources consistently over the past few weeks, and that's not just from within the Civil Aviation Authority, that's within the Airports Authority as well, that's within the what's it called, Aerospace Management Authority as well, NAMA, is that there is no primary radar coverage in Nigerian airspace. So basically, on a daily basis, you have dozens of aircraft flying through Nigeria's airspace, and the air traffic controllers keep on hailing this aircraft that please come in, and they don't know who it is. They
But
don't know
David,
who is flying through Nigerian airspace.
but David, I'm just looking at a particular headline now, and that helps us understand where we are and where Nigeria should have been. And that has to do with a publication of April 7, 2023, saying that Nigeria received some air control equipment from Argentina. And when we have those kind of equipments that are meant to safeguard or moderate the operation of air traffic and ensure safety, and of course be able to prevent any sort of criminal activities that may be going on within that space, and we do not have those equipment on ground doing their job, the question we want to ask is that where are they? Would you say that they were deliberately taken out, not installed, not used? There's someone that's trying to sabotage the system deliberately. We may need to understand that too.
So again, you would have to pose that question to the Director General of the Nigerian Aerospace Management Agency, NAMA, because as you have rightly said, the equipment is there. it exists. The budgetary provisions for these things have been made. So it's not an issue of the Nigerian government not investing in those things. The money is there and it has been paid. So the money is there, the equipment has been bought to a large extent, and yet the coverage is not there. So you then have to ask the question to Nama that in whose interest is it for not only the Nigerian, the primary radar coverage in Nigerian airspace to be down, which, by the way, is a large part of the reason why many transcontinental flights, especially coming from Southern Africa, instead of flying directly through Nigerian airspace, especially at night, they prefer to circumnavigate Nigeria. They prefer to go around Nigeria and pass through, Cameroon and Niger instead of passing through Nigerian airspace, which would be cheaper and more direct. The reason is that there is no primary radar coverage in Nigeria. So they're afraid that if there is an emergency or if they go down, they won't even be found. Which is, by the way, it has happened in Nigeria before where an aircraft went down and we didn't know where it was. This is a result of not having primary radar coverage. So you have to ask the MD, sorry, not the DG, the MD of the Nigerian Aerospace Management Agency, that why have these things not been put in place? And if the MD cannot give an answer to that question, then you then also have to ask the question that who is benefiting from a situation where aircraft can fly through Nigeria's airspace, and we don't know who or what is on those aircraft. We can't do anything about it. We simply don't know. So, in a situation where, for example, much of the audience may not know this. On paper, Nigeria has 19 functioning airports. In reality, if you add together Nigeria's airports and airstrips, including airstrips that most of us have never heard about, Nigeria has well over 50 places where an aircraft can land and take off from around the country.
Yeah.
So, and aircrafts are using these airstrips. What are they using these airstrips to do? And how is it that aircrafts without transponders are taking off and landing out, flying through Nigeria's airspace, and we don't know what is on them? We don't even know what these aircraft are.
So basically, we're talking about a porous airspace, just as we have porous land borders. And in a very recent report, one of the governors in Nigeria said that, some bandits or some kidnappers were apprehended. They confessed to killings and they were handed to the authorities, and the courts actually granted them bail. I begin to ask the questions: is it that the Nigerian government is complicit when it comes to the safety of Nigeria as a country, of Nigerians? I mean, we need to put that in perspective.
I would argue absolutely, because first of all, bear in mind that those headlines that you cited a few minutes ago, where you said 80% of Nigeria is now covered by ground radar. First of all, that's an attempt to mislead the public, because the ground radar is different from airspace radar. So that's an attempt to mislead the public into thinking that Nigeria's airspace is covered. That's ground radar. So already that's an attempt to insult the intelligence of the public and to create the idea that something that is not the case is the case. The purpose of ground radar is to monitor the position of airplanes on the ground, not airplanes in the air. So already from that point of view, you can see that someone in the government is trying to be clever by half. And then secondly, it's not just about the equipment and the systems in place, it's also even the people. So if you speak to people who work in the space, for example, the air traffic controllers, you may or may not know this, Nigerian air traffic controllers are the worst paid in the world, not in Africa, in the world. And I have the numbers to prove this here. So I don't know if you can see the numbers on this. So I went to the trouble of printing these numbers actually. So you can see the numbers for countries like Ghana. You can see the numbers for the ASECNA countries. That's the countries in French, Western, and Central Africa. You can see the numbers for countries that are within the European aerospace zone. You can see the numbers for the US. You can see all this, and then you can see Nigeria. They're equivalent to $322 a month for an air traffic controller. So I was speaking to an air traffic controller recently, and he said they have to do side hustles to survive. So an air traffic controller whose attention is supposed to be focused exclusively on keeping Nigeria's airspace safe, airspace that we all use, including you that I'm speaking to, this air traffic controller's attention is divided. He's selling clothes, he's doing drop shipping on WhatsApp, he's doing side hustles, he's selling real estate, selling cars, just putting together one or two things just to be able to pay their bills. So an air traffic controller has to do that. There's no way you can look at that situation and say that the government does not know that the Nigerian government is paying air traffic controllers 3 times less than what the Ghanaian government pays air traffic controllers. Is Ghana a wealthier country than Nigeria? Is Ghana in a better financial, economic situation to Nigeria? No, it is not. So that can only mean logically that someone within the government or that a group of people within the government are intentionally sabotaging the safety of Nigerian airspace, or at least the proper operation of the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, which then begs the question, who are these people and what is their goal?
So when we have a country that frolics with negligence of duty in this scale, what danger do you think that country could be plunging itself into on a wider scale?
Well,
when I first heard this, I did not believe it. This company is looking for home to trial these brand new panels. Get this.
Well, for one thing, where you have the NCAA sending out a circular that the Office of National Security Advisor is seeing unidentified aircraft flying above the presidential villa. First of all, the very implication of that there is an unidentified aircraft that is able to violate some of what should be the most restricted airspace in Nigeria. What that basically means is that Nigeria does not have any national security whatsoever. So if you recall, last year when there were noises of, for example, going to war with Niger, what that means is that if, for example, Nigeria were to go to war with Niger, especially now that Niger is now in a military partnership with the Russian military, if the Russian Air Force were to take any sort of interest into striking targets in Nigeria, it means that Nigeria's airspace is not protected, including what should be the most protected airspace, the seat of government, where the president himself is. So if that airspace is not restricted, that also means that the airspace around military installations too will not be restricted. That has already told me that if a civil, we don't even know whether it's civilian or it's military, an unknown aircraft can violate the airspace above the presidential villa, then that means that the airspace above, let's say, the Tactical Air Command in Makurdi, which is Nigeria's largest air force base, or the military base in Kachia, which is Nigeria's largest armory, or the Ikeja Cantonment, or Dodan Barracks, or Mogadishu Barracks. These are all strategic military locations in Nigeria. That means anybody can fly and violate those airspaces and drop whatever they want to drop on them. So Nigeria has essentially no internal defenses, and it's there for the taking. And probably the only reason why we're not in total chaos right now is because we don't actually have any neighbors who are hostile or belligerent to us yet. But what it means is that everyone will be taking notes. Everyone around us will be taking notes, especially now that the world is heading toward a sort of conflict era where people are going to start taking sides. It's like the 20th century all over again. There's going to come a time when we are going to have to come to terms with the reality that we are a country of 200 million people, 993,000 square kilometers, with no internal defenses. We're just there for the taking. Anyone can come and claim bits of our territory, and we can't do anything about it because some people have an interest in deliberately weakening the air defense or the air security of Nigeria because of whatever reason. Whatever reason it is, who knows whether it's with minerals trafficking, blood, conflict minerals, weapons, guns, drugs, whatever it is.
Well, David, I tell you, this is a big issue that we cannot wish away, and we hope that the Nigerian government will be able to step up into sanitizing the country in all aspects to ensure that we are safe. David Hundeyin, journalist, thank you so much for your extensive contribution on the news.
Governor Dobale of Zamfara State explained that one of the suspected bandit leaders was traced to Bauchi, where he was arrested, while the other was picked up in Gusau, and they were charged to court for prosecution. But the court granted them bail based on an order from some people in Abuja who had assured them that they would be released. The governor warned the judiciary to fear God and discharge their responsibilities with the utmost integrity and honesty for the collective interest of all the law-abiding citizens. He noted that everyone is aware of the challenges Zamfara State is facing, including banditry, kidnapping, cattle rustling, and other sundry crimes. He says all hands must be on deck to tackle them.
Recognize that the people of Zamfara State require a judicial system that protects the rights of citizenry. They expect a system of justice that gives every person fair and equal access to administration of justice and guarantees their dignity, rights, and security, regardless of gender, influence, or any other societal differences in Zamfara State. It is for this reason that this administration prioritizes on the improvement of the justice sector.
The Chief Judge of Zamfara State, Justice Kulu Aliu, charged the newly sworn-in magistrates to live up to the expectations of their offices, as all eyes are on the judiciary.
I therefore congratulate you for your well-deserved appointment, but I'll be frank with you. Judicial office is not an office for luxury and enjoyment. It's an office saddled with very serious and enormous tasks that only people with strong character can deliver its demands. With cooperation and support of the said government, under the able leadership of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Zamfara State, Dr. Dobale, will do all we can to see that you are assisted in discharging your duties.
Governor Dauda Lawal has been talking tough in recent times, accusing some prominent individuals whom he believes sit in Abuja and initiate negotiations with the bandits in the state without his knowledge. The action, he thinks, is worsening the security challenges in Zamfara. And he said with the right political will, the troops can end banditry in 2 weeks.
Hey, una here? Una aviation. yeah. Wow. Hey, Nigeria is hanging on the pin. That trade when they say they plait head. Now they hang on. This is Omorege, welcome.
Yeah, this is okay. Wait, and so I mean, see, they eat the profit and the business money. Or how there's a word, there's a way they say it. Like you eat the profit, you eat the everything. You eat that is they don't eat everything finished. They know all they are just concerned about is looting, and continuing to drain the treasury which they have to put us in deficit in billions.
Yep.
And the truth is that, oh my goodness. Okay, so tell me now, like he said, David, assuming say that time now when this Baba where Miss Road, when he say one go fight that time with the other country, is in Nigeria or where? If it wasn't that backlash and everybody and all that, I say if we just carry us enter problem, the next thing now, Putin will just come bring us on. You just come bomb us wherever we did. I don't know if that was
one time.
They're not going to even know where the missile they come from.
I'm telling you, see how porous the airspace is. Scary. It is so scary. God. Man, we ignorant for Nigeria. I no go lie.
We know they say pikin when they put for back, don't know the distance when mama they waka. So God just they protect us all this time. We don't even just know the extent to which He's been protecting us.
Imagine how
this is alarming.
With a country with so much resources and so much human capital. You are not.
That's why I'm thinking it's a deliberate attempt now. It's a deliberate attempt. So this is what this political class are actually the cabals. That's what it is. All of them, they're actually the cabals holding the country. And you understand? Now share by share, if we don't eat our one finish, we go hand them over to you at the detriment of the people. Right? And then now, fear not let the people come out because nobody want die. Oh, sorry, nobody want buy. Right? Nobody want buy, nobody want come out. Nobody want me, husband, wife, children, or whoever come out. See, can you imagine this? After all those are generals, them. When their belly big like this thing, though they do people like say they get what they do. Can you imagine? No defense, nothing.
Nothing.
What was it not the other time a year ago or so that the bandits went into one of the force headquarters or they go there, go kidnap them for Abuja. I beg. I don't know. Now movie I want to watch just now because nothing good they come from that place again. Eh? David today he can't talk this one now, and nobody's talking about it. By the way,
I'm telling you, look, do you know how many views? No, literally, I just checked him because I saw his notification on Twitter, right? Saying he was saying that he's going to be on News Central, blah blah blah. So I just, marked it down. I was like, okay, I'm going to go back and watch it. If I'm not able to watch it, I'll bring it to us so we can watch it. How many views did it even get? This thing did not get many views. Look at see. As at the time I checked, it was like
get views now. They're not talking about the regular thing that our people are interested in. Who is driving what car, whose husband is where, and who's dating who, and whatever.
Hey,
the people have been, they are numb in a way. The people are, I don't know if it's in the air, if it's in the water. Maybe now that soccer away, water away with the drink for there. What's it called? Borehole water away they didn't near soccer away. I think it's having an effect because that's what everybody's using. You build your soccer away somewhere close by within the compound, borehole close to it. I'm telling you. Yeah. Like a cocktail where everybody they drink, where they make all of us behave the same way. Listening to him, I'm like, come on, how bad can it be now? Waiting, why would I want to lie for these people in their head? Well, it's definitely not a lie. And they all know it. See,
of course, that's why they're stealing. This is why they are keeping everything, because to them, in their minds, anytime now, Nigeria can just collapse. At least they will have that money.
May the thief and finish, yes. How much again was it that was just approved by World Bank? Even the World Bank is complicit. I'm telling you, the World Bank is, because they continue to give them money.
Yes.
Continue to give them money. Something is not right, Jare.
It's intentional. It's intentional. Yes. I even actually asked the question on my Twitter account. I said, I don't understand why World Bank is complicit. Let me read it. And some people responded to me, right? I said, come on, me, I don't understand. Why does the World Bank, I say, I'm curious. Does the World Bank not consider the state of the country before they approve loans? I mean, why are they always so quick to approve any and every loan?
They don't want to only Dara.
Drug baron, terrorist government in Nigeria. Ordinary personal loan. If you go, you know now, you cook my day here. Say you want borrow personal loan, nobody go approve them for you. If you get terrible bad credit, they no will all give you the loan. And even if they do, it will be at such a high interest.
2.25 billion dollars. So dollars.
Yes.
Hey, in addition to the one with the man don't collect before.
Exactly. I remember the Binance guy, Binance CEO, whatever, when they lock up for jail. They release am. Guess what? FBI supposed to release Tinubu other crimes, other things when they get on, right? Now Tinubu blessing at that Binance man, they take care negotiate. They release the man. FBI, the CEO of FBI, the head of FBI, I think that's what they call. I think so. He go visit Agbado for Aso Rock. They take picture. Please tell me what's the business of FBI for country when you know say then they can't tell say Nigeria is doing Tinubu can't tell them say Nigeria is doing the best, that is on top of their security. I know they get headache and they listen to them and say, God, these people are all in on it. We just they wake up. Hey! Oba Merigbe, I no go lie, they pay me. As in, we are just waking up to the realization that we've been taken for a fool. They're not going to kukuma teach civic responsibilities. So they don't make the citizens' eye open. They don't want time. They want it closed. Now make them they run rampant. Hey God. Ah, make I play this video. There's more.
The executive governor of Zamfara State, Governor Dobale Lawal, is live with us. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Sean.
Great. It's good to have you. We're going straight to the point and hitting the nail on the head. In summary, what would you say, as a governor, from your own point of view, is one major problem of security in Nigeria today?
Well, Sharon, first of all, let me thank you for giving me the opportunity to be on this platform. Let me talk about two basic things, legal things that I as a person. And one, of course, one part. If you look at the number of either military or police that we have in the country, compared to the past we're having in the country, the number is way, way too low. That's number one. Number two, when it comes to capacity of our security operatives to effectively take care of security situation in the country, they have the ability to do that. However, the major challenge here is political interference. If we're able to take care of this, believe me, they have what it takes to take care of whatever security challenges we're facing in this country. These are the two basic things that I can talk about, and these are real.
What would you say, and I like to put you on the spot, because putting you on the spot, not just for the sake of it, but also to find solution. Would you say, as an executive governor, you have a full control of your territory in terms of securing it?
Well, let me say this, Sharon. Remember yesterday I was in the morning, part of the morning show, and I spoke about the fact that if we are really committed and we have the political will, all this issue of banditry, kidnapping, cattle rustling, and other form of insecurity, we can handle this within 2 weeks. And I mean it, and I still repeat it. If I have the power now, and if they're under my control, believe me, in 2 weeks, we'll be able to finish the issue of banditry and kidnapping in my state. There's no two way about it.
So in essence, you are not in full control of the whole gamut of securing your territory as a governor?
No, I'm not in control. As I said, I don't have control over the military, nor the police, or the civil defense.
But I mean, you are one of the 36 states governor. Is this what is applicable also to your, and the reason why I'm asking this question is because your other title, aside being the executive governor, is that you are the chief security officer of your state. So does that title, is it valid?
It's a very, very interesting title that we all have. I'm sure if you ask all my colleagues across the 36 states, they will tell you a different story. Yes, by name, I'm the chief security officer of the state. But when it comes to command and control, I don't have control over any of the security outfits, either the military, the police, or the civil defense. They take their instructions from their head office or headquarters, from their superiors, not from the government. We don't have that control. And I wish we do have. It would have been a different story.
So we are not trying to find our way around the dark, because if people like you are on this platform within this summit, we're getting insight that will help us to find our way around in the dark because we have some light in the room. So if I have the power, Governor, if I have the power, and I ask you this question, what will it take for you to have full control of security and be able to govern or secure your state? What would you say?
If I have my own military, if I have my own police or civil defense in Zamfara State, believe me, I don't need to look anywhere or elsewhere. I'll be in full control and I know where the issues are and I'll be able to face these issues head on. But like I said, I don't have control over the security outfits, but I wish I do have. It would have been a different story. Banditry in Zamfara would have been history by now.
Interesting. So what would you do, for example, if you had it today? What would you do differently? If you had all of these instruments that you are asking for.
K1, I'm in Zamfara, and I'm sure you have all the information that Zamfara has become a base for kidnapping, cattle rustling, and other banditry activities in northern Nigeria. And I said, if we're able to take care of Zamfara today, the issue of banditry will be history because Zamfara has become a hope for all these criminal activities. And like I said, if I'm in control, believe me, in 2 weeks' time, banditry issue will be history in Zamfara State. And that, same applies to all the governors of northern Nigeria and even beyond.
So you will like state police?
In a way, yes. It has advantage and disadvantage. But to some extent, yes, I do want to have that control because if I do, then I know exactly what to do because I understand the environment very well. We live with these people. We know where they are. So getting them is not an issue. We have the intelligence. We have everything.
Well, what is frustrating? What would you say is frustrating you the most in all of this? What would you say is more frustrating? On one hand, you do not have full control, but aside that, you say you have intelligence.
Sharon, political interference is the major factor here. If we don't have that, believe me, the military, they have the capacity to crush anybody. Remember, we do have our forces in Liberia, Sierra Leone, and they did excellent, very well. That is even in a foreign country. Talk less of here that will understand the terrain very well. So we have what it takes. They have the capacity to do that. But the major challenge is the political interference. We are playing with human lives. Everything is political. Why is it so? For goodness sake. Why can't you face this head on? Why?
Okay.
That is the serious issue that we're facing. And I'm sure same applies to all the governors that are facing security challenges in Nigeria today.
And I'm going to ask you this question before I come to the panelists, Governor Lawal. There are those who are saying, yes, state policing, advantages, disadvantages. There are those who are saying restructuring what we have presently is not working. If you were to pick which one would come first, is it to restructure Nigeria in the manner of getting rid of aspects of our constitution that those who say that constitution does not really reflect the will and the aspiration of the Nigerian people, or you just go straight for state policing? Which one would you pick first?
I think for me, I'd rather go for restructuring. If we're able to do that and take care of, believe me, that will change a lot of things for this country for the better. So I choose restructuring.
What does restructuring mean for you, Governor Lawal?
Well, you just look at the 1999 Constitution and look at issues where, in fact, for example, issue of security. If state governors will have their own security or control over the security situation, most of these criminalities will not take place in most of the states because we all want to live in peace. There's nothing like peace. There's no price to peace. Whatever you do, if you don't have security, it's basically nothing. There'll be no meaningful development only in a state like Zamfara State and other northern, 7 northern states in the country. Kaduna, Katsina, Niger, Sokoto, to some extent, Kebbi. Maybe Kano, they are relatively okay, and Jigawa. But at least the 5 northern states were in a serious mess when it comes to security.
All right. Just give me a moment. Governor Lawal, we are hoping that after tonight, that mess will be cleared because we have a congregation of some of the best minds in our country tonight in this room, and are hoping that with all of the expertise that are abound here, we might be able to have a solution.
One of my students landed multiple.
Welcome back to Sunrise. Well, yes, we've got His Excellency Dobale, Governor of Zamfara State, here in the studios with us. Good morning, Your Excellency. Thank you for coming on today.
Good morning, Shamali. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, so before we go on, we understand there's a development going on right now in Abuja. Some members of staff of Ministry of Defense.
Yes, indeed. We're seeing that developing story, of course, from the Ministry of Defense. That protest you're looking at there is from the Joint Executive Council of the Ministry of Defense. They've shut down the headquarters of the ministry over alleged brutalization of civilian staff by soldiers. And that protest is led by Didam Joel, who's the president of the Joint Executive Council of the Ministry of Defense. So that's going on right now. Our correspondent is, of course, there to give us the details. Maybe in the course of today, we'll be able to get exactly what's going on. But we're seeing that happening right there from the Ministry of Defense right here in Abuja.
All right. What does they say never cease? Well, Your Excellency, let's talk about Zamfara. I know that you had a 6-point agenda in terms of what you wanted to achieve. And one of the things that easily will stick out is security.
Absolutely.
And we do know that, in fact, when people from a distance keep wondering what exactly is the issue in Zamfara. For instance, checking you out, you got a PhD in BizAdmin, so you're not a spring chicken in some of these things, but people can't still understand why is the security situation in Zamfara still what it is today?
Well, Shama, let me say this is something that has been ongoing for the past 12 years. The security challenge in Zamfara State, and which is the banditry issue, kidnapping, cattle rustling, and so on and so forth. It's unfortunate the way things are. And sometimes you even wonder what kind of human beings are we? Because when you look at the situation in Zamfara, it's the same people, same culture, 99% same religion. What exactly are they fighting for? That is a $1 million question. I can understand if you talk about Boko Haram, maybe they believe in certain religion. If you go to Niger Delta, they are fighting for economic reason. What about Zamfara? That is a $1 million question. It's something we inherited, and we're doing so much to make sure we take care of the situation. Part of which I did was to set up the Community Protection Guard, which is an internal arrangement, though passed by the State Assembly, to help the Convention on Security in taking care of some of these challenges. We recruited over 2,540 staff across 14 local governments because they understand the trend, and they know the people there. And they're doing very well as we speak.
I looked at several states that have set up one security outfit or the other for 5, 6, 7 years ago. And one thing that appears to stick out is some sort of helplessness. And so the governors there have got to just step in and do something. Why did you set this up? Did you feel helpless?
Well, I would say that it is something that you know clearly that we as governors, we don't have control over the military. We don't have control over the police, as well as the civil defense. In most cases, you get frustrated in terms of where do you get help from? When you needed these people, there will be nowhere to be found. And therefore, the best thing to do is to set up that kind of security outfit. And honestly, for us in Zamfara, they're doing exceptionally well.
Security agencies, because I mean, the narrative they always say is that, look, we're routing these bandits, we're doing what we can. But if you say they're nowhere to be found, how do we reconcile that?
Let me say this. There's a lot of political undertone in the security issues. Some, you find it very difficult even to come out and say this. But I know what we're going through. Like I said, sometimes you're really helpless. When you need them, they're not there. Or even when they're there, they were given certain instructions on what to do and not to do. That is the true situation.
Wow.
We're facing.
Does it mean that, because if you say they're giving certain instructions, so if that was not the case, are you saying that we can actually rout these bandits in no time?
Chamberlain, let me say this categorical. If we're committed, if we're serious, you can take up this situation within 2 weeks, maximum.
2 weeks?
I'm telling you, in 2 weeks, you can take up this situation.
I want to be able to understand.
But the political will is not there.
What's happening really? I have heard you complain that negotiations are going on with bandits behind your back.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Who is negotiating with the bandits in your state behind your back? And why are you not being carried along with this?
That is the $1 million question. And at a point, I had to really come out and say it clearly, because while we're trying to take care of the situation, somebody somewhere, somehow, behind our back is negotiating with the bandits. As a governor of a state, without my knowledge.
Do you know who's doing this?
Well, to some extent, yeah, we do.
Have you escalated it to someone higher?
In fact, when the situation really got bad, I had to meet Mr. President and complain one-on-one and explain the true situation of what Zamfara is all about or what it's facing in terms of the security situation.
It's really troubling to think that something like that, because I have heard you and other governors from your region straightforward say we are not negotiating with bandits.
How many times are you going to negotiate? On what basis?
But we did hear some lawmakers recently talk about how,
the issue of
maybe we should try something different.
No. Look, we're talking about kinetic and non-kinetic approach. In Zamfara State, there was a series of negotiations with these bandits, not once, not twice. What happened at the end? Nothing. And for goodness sake, how do you even begin to negotiate at the point of weakness? You can only negotiate at the point of strength, when they know you mean business. It's just a money venture making kind of a thing.
You know, you say you met the president.
Yes.
Did you get the impression that he's getting proper briefing of what's going on?
Well, based on the conversation we had, the answer is no.
Wow.
And I had to explain everything to him, what we're going through and what needs to be done. Because Zamfara State has become the hub of banditry in Nigeria, or in northern Nigeria. If you're able to take care of Zamfara today, believe me, you have solved more than 90% of banditry issue in northern Nigeria as a whole.
Yeah, I was gonna say something I saw you do recently. Recently, I saw you having a conversation, a visit from the essay to the president on school feeding program, and I saw the talk about starting the school feeding programs at state level for children in schools, and it got me thinking about young people and children in schools in your state with everything that is going on, and then I started thinking about the Bagega incident, where a lot of children died because of that poisoning. We do hear that mining is still going on in the state right now. Is there any check as to whether some kind of, if the safety measures are put in place for the children who are having to drink all of this water? Is any of that going on? Is any of that kind of check and balance going on in that area in your state right now?
It is ongoing. We've been having series of challenges in the mining sector, the artisanal mining. It is a big problem. But then sometimes, what do? These are guys that really are scrambling for just something to feed themselves. And in the process, they found themselves in that kind of situation. Mining has been banned by both states and federal government, but still.
It's still ongoing.
It's still ongoing. So it's a continuous process.
So is the security outfit you set up, what are they going to do? Are they supposed to step in to address this?
Well, they're really doing a whole lot. Yes, mining is an issue. They go around to see what they can stop. Banditry is an issue. They are busy around the clock. Cattle rustling is an issue. So they're busy around the clock, 24 hours.
Wow. But how are you even going to create jobs, do something about education with this kind of scenario?
Well, let me say this, Chamberlain. If you look at all indices of development, Zamfara has been at the bottom. Let's take education, which is one of my key agenda, or rather number 2, outside security. It is interesting to know that for 3 years, our children did not write WAEC as well as NACO. When we took over, NACO was owing 1.3 billion, WAEC 1.6 billion that we had to settle in order for our kids to write NACO as well as WAEC, and some to get their certificates, which was one of the reasons why in November 24th, 2023, I had to declare a state of emergency in education. Right now, we're rebuilding, reconstructing more than 254 schools across all the 14 local governments. We had to settle school fees for some of our children that are in India, some are in Sudan.
I just won $60,000 for my car crash from this app.
Some are in Cyprus. They were taken there as students on scholarship, but yet nothing was paid. So we had to also take care of that.
But for instance, all of these issues for perhaps the people who might have gotten involved in illegal mining, it's going to be challenging to move them away or stop them from that and convince them to go about your duties, go to proper schools, get a good job. Do you consider that a challenge, and what are you doing about that?
For me, illegal mining is not even the major challenge for me.
Oh, okay.
No.
What is security?
Security is number 1. How do we secure the state?
So isn't mining part of the reason why?
Mining is not much of a headache, believe me.
Oh. So what is then?
The headache is the kidnapping, cattle rustling, the banditry activities. in almost all the local government in the state. That is a challenge. If we're able to take care of that, believe me, money is not an issue.
But do we know who these people are who are doing
we
this?
do. We know who they are. We know where they live. It's just that there's no political will.
I mean, we've had people on this program from Zamfara State who said, "Oh, we are negotiating."
What are you negotiating?
With the people in our neighborhood, with the bandits in our
what
neighborhood.
What are you negotiating?
It's some sort of money they give him so that their community can live in peace.
You are empowering these people. The more you give them money, the more they buy weapons. And that is what they use in killing people. So what are you negotiating?
So what's your ultimate solution? What if you were given, if all of these interferences were not happening, what would be the ultimate solution? You said 2 weeks. What would you do in those 2 weeks?
Believe me, if we are committed, I mean, the military as well as other security agencies, if there's political will, as I said, in 2 weeks' time, you can crush these guys. We know where they live. They are within the community.
I'm afraid to even ask you if you've thought about minimum wage. With all the minimum wage conversations
in fact, it's interesting to know that since the creation of Zamfara State, there was nothing like a minimum wage. People, as at last month, were still earning 7,000 naira salaries. It's just now that we implemented even the 30,000. When we took over, there was a backlog of salaries for over 4 months. We had to clear that. Pensions since 2012, about 13.6 billion that is spending. We have just started paying all the pensioners. So far, we've paid over 6 billion of the backlog. And we intend to clear it within the shortest possible time.
Will you be able to pay this over 60,000 minimum wage?
Well, let's look at it and we'll do all the calculations and see what we can do. There's no guarantee, but yeah, we'll meet somewhere at least.
What are you doing about farming? Because, I mean, I also did see some of your piece where you spoke about how beans and some of the major foods come from Zamfara goes to the south. What are you doing in that regard now?
Zamfara State has always been an agrarian economy. The only challenge is the insecurity that we're facing. That is why people can no longer go to farm. But if we're able to take care of that, believe me, agric is the major thing.
A lot will always bring us back to this security matter. When you met the president, did you get any guarantees from him that, well, if I wasn't getting the right briefing from what you have said, I will do this, this, and this?
Remember on that day, when I briefed Mr. President, that was the day he declared them as terrorists. And he has given the assurance that something will be done immediately. As a matter of fact, we had all these special forces sent to Zamfara with all the latest technology and everything. But the issue now is they also have limitation because they were told not to cross certain.
So
who's telling them?
The commander-in-chief is supposed to be in charge.
Well, I'm still going back to Mr. President to explain the situation to him.
Wow.
Because somebody somewhere, somehow is frustrating the efforts.
This is really
everything has
shocking.
Become political. Why?
Is someone trying to make your state ungovernable for you?
Well, I guess, but we'll get to the end of it. We remain committed until we're able to solve the security challenge in this state. There's no two way about it.
But for, I mean, while you're trying to address security, the state cannot be at a standstill. Things have got to move.
No. So far, things are going okay. At least if you, I mean, your crew were there. They've seen the new development that is taking place, part of the urban renewal. As a matter of fact, in the past, I mean, you can't move 200 meters on a good road in Zamfara State. In Gusau.
I was just going to tell you that there's that issue of bad roads in Gusau. And then you can't travel before 9 o'clock.
Anywhere.
once it's 9, when you get up in the morning and you say, "Oh, we're leaving,"
Things are
for 7,
changing now.
security agents will tell you, "No, we can't pass the cell at 9 a.m. You have to wait." Is that still the situation right now?
Well, no, things are changing right now, but there's really kind of a ban from 6 p.m. when it's getting dark, because we're doing some, operations in place, and it has drastically reduced the number of attacks.
Someone talked about this artisanal gold miners. There was an artisanal miners. Oh, he's laughing. And this is the second time I'm seeing someone laugh at this, because what we heard was these artisanal miners were going to be mining and then selling what they've mined to the government. That was going to reduce the insecurity in the place. This is not true, is it?
No. That has nothing to do. When you're talking of mining, you're not talking about artisanal mining. What benefit is coming to the state? Artisan mining. You need proper mining. You need people that can invest. Look, Zamfara is blessed. We have the highest mineral deposit in the country.
Yes, you do.
If you talk of gold, if you talk of lithium, you talk of copper, name it. A large quantity. You don't need additional money. You need proper investors. That is what we're working towards. And it's a matter of time. We will get there. Like I said, we are not deterred by anything. We remain focused, and we're committed to changing the narratives. We're on a rescue mission, and we're going to rescue Zamfara by the grace of God.
Minister of State for Defense is from your zone. Are you working together with him?
It is always interesting when this issue of Minister of Defense comes on. And he's Minister of State Defense. But of what benefit to us? I'm sure you're aware, just about 3 weeks ago, bandit went into his hometown, killed so many people. What have they done about it? Yes, we have Minister of Defense, but of what benefit to Zamfara State?
Well, it's supposed to be of benefit because he used to be governor. He was former governor before he became Minister of State for Defense. You would think that now he's at the national level, they would be able to push more, to secure that place. You're saying this is not happening.
We don't see that anyway. We don't see that efforts.
He's not pulling his weight?
If you have a 700 plus credit score, you qualify for Chase's new program where you could access up to
Even if he is, maybe it's not enough. But we don't see that effort at all.
But are you in touch, in communication with him or the Minister of Defense?
I've been around almost all the security chiefs. I've seen them one-on-one, from the Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Army Staff, Office of NSA, name it. I was there. I cried for help. Let's help Zamfara State. So we're in touch with everybody.
And you didn't get
But the issue is the political will is still not there.
Political will on whose part?
On the part of the security agencies.
Security agencies have no business with political will. They just do their job.
Well, who instruct the security forces? There must be somebody behind them, sorry. Like I said, if really we're committed, we can crush these guys in a matter of 2 weeks, maximum.
This is something we've been grappling with for years.
Exactly.
And you say this can be done in 2 weeks.
It can be done in 2 weeks if we're committed, if we're ready.
It's a shock.
And I'm saying this over.
Is it just in Zamfara State, or do you think even across either where the Northwest, whichever area?
The major center of banditry in Nigeria today is Zamfara State. Zamfara State for a while has become a safe haven for these criminals. They moved from Zamfara into Katsina. They moved from Zamfara into part of Kaduna State. They moved from Zamfara into part of Niger State. They moved from Zamfara into Sokoto State. And like I said, we know where their camps are. So why is it taking so long to crush these guys?
Wow. So if you say this can be crushed in 2 weeks,
yes,
and then very bad roads in Zamfara. So what was not even your predecessor's predecessor? They've all been there, and these things were not done.
I guess maybe they had different priorities. So, but for us, like I said, we are on a rescue mission.
I mean, people who are watching this right now will be looking at you, Governor Lawal, and say you're the chief security officer of your state.
That is the reason
what's your restriction? What's holding you back?
That is the reason why I had to set up the community protection guard, because I have control over them, and they're doing exceptionally well.
So you don't have control over the other security agencies?
I don't have control over the military. I don't have control over police. I don't have control over civil defense.
Is it possible for you to tell them, look, this is where the situation, and they say, no,
no
we're
matter
not
when you tell them, they don't take instructions from you. They take instructions from their head of agencies also.
And you have met the heads of their agencies?
On
so that means there's something else going on here.
On a daily basis. I mean, we've been doing that, and we'll continue to do that until we find a solution to the problem, whatever it is.
So the CPG that you set up, you've also heard people who are a little apprehensive saying, I hope this is not for political purpose, not for to win.
As a matter of fact, when I met the president, that was the impression he was giving, that we set up CPG just to, crush our political enemies or political, what do you call it, call them. And I said, look, why would somebody do that? In the first place, we went through proper legislation passed by the State House of Assembly. The recruitment process was done in conjunction with all the military, the police, the civil defense, the DSS. Even the selection process was done by them. And these are people from their respective local government, because they understand the terrain better than even the conventional security. But that was the impression given to Mr. President. I had to explain everything to him. Say, look, there was nothing like political opponent. Why would I do that? I'm concerned about my people. I don't want, every day you wake up, people being killed left, right, and center, and nobody's doing anything. I can just sit down. As a governor, how would I feel to see your people being killed on a daily basis? No.
Well, your next meeting with the president will probably decide what happens with those bandits, as it were.
Absolutely.
Because you intend to give him another update on that.
I still have to see him and explain the situation, what we're going through, because really, this should be taken very, very serious. We're talking about human lives, for goodness sake.
Well, we do wish you well in that meeting, because many are still trying to digest when you say this banditry or terrorism or kidnapping that has assumed this larger than life image can be routed in 2 weeks.
Chamberlain, I said yes, and I mean 2 weeks. If we're committed, if we're serious. Not that we don't know where these people are. Me too. They live with us. So what does it take?
So is somebody preserving them or maintaining or keeping them?
Well, that is something we're still trying to unravel.
Wow. All right. We've been speaking with His Excellency Dobale Lawal, Governor.
Nigeria. I never hear this kind of thing before. Yeah? if there is political will, please, when these people are running for state governorship elections and all of that, I'm assuming they already know the issues on ground and they have the spirit and the will to serve the people. Now, what I don't understand, you get into office, now you're saying there's no political will. Who? It is your state. I mean, I don't understand. It is your people's lives at stake. Who are these people in Abuja that you will now take them, you would sue them to court or whatever it is? They will now release them on bail based on order from Abuja. Please tell me, who are the people in that Abuja that are so powerful that the governor's hands are tied of your own state? Hey, Oluwa. Hey, Nigeria. Oh. You, Mrs. Omoregi, you dey hear what, are you hear wetin me hear? So I no understand. Biko.
Oh, I feel sorry for this governor.
This governor went to
Tell you that.
America now with some group of people when they go discuss security. I come dey say, wetin these people dey do for America? They no fit discuss security for their land. Why are they going to America to go and discuss security? That's even a security breach in and of itself.
It means that he's been rendered powerless. In other words, he's just a governor without, what's it called, portfolio, or what do they call it? When they say somebody has been given a position without a portfolio, he's just a figurehead. Everything that he needs, right? Although every other governor has said it's from time. That's why they're advocating for state police. They really, you understand? So this thing is at Zamfara State, like he said, they have all the natural resources from gold, everything. They have it. So the political class have captured that state more or less. He's just a boy that is there. You understand? All he's supposed to do is wake up in the morning, hear that a particular state has been taken over by the bandits, and you just keep quiet and drive past them. And that's what they expect him to do. This one, when they come out, when they shout so for here, now he's going to get in trouble. And you understand my point?
He
and
has been making all the media rounds, though. That means we'll watch this.
He has been making all the media. Yeah, because the person get conscience. He has conscience. You understand? He's traumatized. Look at him, the way when he smile, laugh, not being dead yet. You understand? He's crying out for help. And he also knows the people that he's up against. And he knows what the fight is about. Look at when somebody say, I know the thief where they come thief me. You understand? If you live for example, if you live in the trenches, right? If you've ever lived in the trenches, and you know the particular street where all the Agberos dey, and all the people then where they come break into homes. But you understand? But you know that you know that they have what do they call them? Their leaders like MC Oluomo, who they, so when they come thief from your place, they'll sell the things and they'll go give MC Oluomo. So who are you gonna cry to? Hey, when the proceeds from which they come thief from your house or from your farm goes to them, what do you want him to do? Now, you don't see who get cutlass where they go fight somebody when get we carry a gun. This guy is just, I guess when he don't tire in conscience, because he be a person will get conscience. When in conscience not do again, either you will just wait, you go just run through what's it called, the time limit he has, and probably just because our leaders, they not get conscience. So according to the Bible says that when some people, their conscience has been seared, it's gone through fire, so they don't be human being again. That's why you see some people when they some kind of things where they do, say human sense and sensibility don't come up for that person. You understand? And that's exactly our political class. And we know who these people are. And we know who they are. All of them. We don't ever have been enriched, that have gained from looting our treasury. We know them. We ourselves, we don't know them. What have we done about it? The Nigerian people, we don't know them. What have we done about it? So what do you expect this governor to do now?
That's true.
I'm begging.
I think it's APC. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, does it really matter? It doesn't. Look, see, at the end of the day, they are all the same. APC, PDP, and don't you see the way they keep flip-flopping back and forth from party to party?
I'm telling you.
And that's
They're
because
the
of the
same.
fact
Speaking APC.
they're
speaking
pals.
APC.
They're all bedfellows, my dear. You know, say if one of them picking one married, all the private jet for Nigeria go, no matter
I'm
where.
telling you.
What are we talking about? See, it is us and the political class. And so that is the problem right now. It is between us and them. There's no in between. You're either for them or for us.
Then that's what it is now. You have to choose this side, which side you are standing on.
Yeah, that's only two sides. There's no
You
one
have
in the
to
middle.
make it clear.
Maybe
Don't
that's someone like Peter Obina. Okay, Peter Obina, and I don't come make him come be say we get someone in the middle, really.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
My God.
He said we know them repeatedly. We know who they are. And if we're serious about it, if we're serious about going to the trenches to go get all those agbero, then when they bring into our cars, break into our homes, we know what to do. Now, one truckload of Olokpa go come, pack all of them. But is it going to get done? No. Why not? Because there's an MC Oluomo right there. Who is the figurehead also between the poor people and then these people, then these boys where they be tyrants, so where they whatever.
Also the problem.
All those boys, then what did they use? So that's the situation here. If you go at Jegunle, you don't already see them. So yeah. So the only thing, if you capture the MC guy, immediately you capture him. In boys where they on there, they will run away because they know say that
exactly.
That's what is going. That's why he keeps saying we know them. We know where they live. You want pie where you go touch. When you want pie where you go touch them. The best you can do is to be appealing to them. I beg. Hey God, what did these people do now? They don't do anything. Just say they come from one particular place. And okay, now so if they want to relocate them to say we go relocate to go Sambisa Forest, go they live there. So that they go loot all the place, they're free to carry everything. I mean, is it not better than spilling sometimes on YouTube, we don't even know the words you're supposed to say on spilling blood?
Hi.
It's painful.
It is
it's painful.
Extremely painful.
Because now human being now they talk, so not they talk about cow. Where they don't now they want to make them now citizens.
Hey, my sister. Oh God, I beg go.
So we will come be second class citizen that time.
I'm telling you.
This is a systematic way of systematic way of that, in other words, not be now they don't take over that Zamfara and they get the place. Now then they run the town.
Now then they run the town, no. Now they run the town for real. CCO, you say imagine what the military would have done if all this confession was coming from the. I'm telling you. You see, God will bless Governor Oti, because the plan that they had for Abia State was not a joke. Since those soldiers, they said some people came and unalived some soldiers. They were coming with full force. They were trying to use Okwama. The outrage from social media, the barrage of messages that were sending and people were tweeting, that made them calm down. Governor was now was always going to their barracks, always meeting with them. They said I think they put out some money to arrest the people, those who know them, to bring them out. They said they've arrested whether 100 people, we don't know whether. When they ask, are they the real ones? Some say they will go carry civilian. They say they don't evade the IPOB something, arrest the people. Are they truly the ones? Because Nigeria, now innocent people, now they are alive. The guilty ones, they know they touch. I never see. Look at how helpless this governor is. This governor is so helpless. Even from the way he's talking, you can tell.
He's traumatized. The guy is traumatized. His this thing is eating him up.
Yeah. Look at the way he's talking. You can tell, like he they talk calmly, but he like say mind not dig ground, he not reach ground.
This not reach ground now.
But how you go say you want? But my question is though, how do you run as a gubernatorial candidate, right? Enter office, finish. you not get the powers when you need. What I mean, don't they know that?
I can answer that question for him.
Okay.
Yeah, well, because you keep thinking that you do better than the person who was there before. It's the same way you're asking this question, you yourself now. And you're going to be like, well, if I enter DHRA, I go see governor. Sorry, I'll see president. I go advocate for this, advocate for that. Maybe I'll be seen to be doing more than the former person who did here before they do. Or maybe the former person who did here was compromised. I'm not compromised. And so because I'm not compromised when I come on, I'm definitely going to make sure that there's a difference. You don't just know say nah. No, cabal them, you just say I'm out. That state capture, that one I be. Like he said, declare the state of emergency on education. You hear say declare state of emergency on what do you call it on security for the place for the state. No, they didn't. Why not? Because the virtue of state of the by if you do that, that means there's going to be curfew, there's going to be this, there's going to be that, there'll be people law enforcement parading and everything, and they don't want that because they want to be able to come and go with their loot, which is the natural resources, gold and everything else where these people get.
Do you know that these people move around with drones? You know that these bandits have drones now. They are even on social media. They show off with the drone. Oh God, darling. Ew. What manner of society is this? You're right, Dr. Chike, you are absolutely, he might be governing from Abuja because the state is not safe. Because most of these governors in the north, they all live in Abuja. Okay.
Okay.
You're actually right, Dr. Chike. He will be governing from Abuja. That is true. Most of them, they stay in Abuja. They cannot even go to their, see, is it Matawale? When Matawale, they go in village. If you see the armored tanks, not be Minister of Defense, see the armored tanks, see the people when they follow one, armed to the teeth. If they go in village, not be say they go war. Minister of Defense cannot defend nada. Man, I'm short of words. I don't even know. It's a helpless situation. It is so helpless, I don't even know what to say. It doesn't make any sense. Ha! Now, wow, Nigeria. Hey, they talk about minimum wage. Baba Blue say they go pay wetin they fit afford to pay. Una hear that one? After they don talk say they wan buy a new aircraft o, e say we will pay what we can afford to pay.
He say make you cut your coat according to your size. If you get size, you know who no get size. Let me tell you, somebody will not get size. You know, in America, the clothing size na 0, 2, 4, say I think that is how it goes. Now, so there will be some people who, when tailor wants sew clothes for you, they are remnants. The remnants where they after you don't cut there will be remnants on the floor. Now that one I know get size when they talk so it can, oh my God, I sure say that guy really. I know sure saying you see if that is if you have a size. I don't know if it makes sense to you. Cut your coat according to your size. If you have a size.
If you have a size, yeah. That's
so
what he
meaning
said.
the crumbs where all those crumbs where like Joseph's coat of many colors, like different pieces when remain take a sew cloth. That's what it means.
See finish of the highest order.
That's
it. He don't
make the your
like...
rest. Make the your rest. Make the your rest. You don't already talk and that's so it go be. He don't come chop your own. I beg. Make it don't chop your own. We just they look at everybody just quiet. So make we just quiet they look at.
If he get even on top of Saka, he say he cut your coat according to your size if you have a size.
Yeah, if you have a size. So that means you are less than size 0. Because even size 0 if you get to buy maybe 1 yard or half a yard, take so. Now you know you're buying a yard, you just pieces wait, you just If your mama wants to wrap, you just go tailor place. All the pieces when they don't cut for ground, you just join, they go just join and obioma. You don't even go to a regular. That's what he's saying. Huh? If na cassava peel, now one go they chop. Go they chop the cassava peel when we are supposed to give an animals. I beg. Sorry.
No. You know what? Let me bring this video here. You see, God, I beg you, Nigeria.
President Tinubu have kept to his campaign promises. Throughout the campaign, he consistently maintained that he will continue from where Buhari stopped. And that is done very well. I would say excellent. I'll give him excellent pass mark. And it's very simple. Dollar was 460, is now 1,005.
Peter Obi, in an Arise TV interview on Tinubu's incompetence, he made one important analogy. He likened what is happening in Nigeria to a situation where there is turbulence in the plane, that it is not the time there is turbulence that stewards in the plane will come out and start serving people food. When it is obvious that there is economic decline, the government has a duty to prioritize projects that will lift the economy. Like the saying goes, a man whose house is on fire should not be chasing rats. So when you think of how Tinubu and his associates and all the people in power, how they reason, it's unimaginable why they can't do things properly. Let's take, for instance, the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. Initially, when this road started, the two major reasons people were against it was because there are many thousands of kilometers of federal highway that are unmotorable. They wanted the government to divert that fund to repairing and fixing these roads so that it will boost economic activity. These roads, the way they are connected to many parts of the country, would obviously improve the economy better than a single road that just covers maybe 11 states. And the fact that it is a new road, every government is supposed to see that, hey, let's at least repair all the existing roads before we embark on a new one. The second major reason people were against it was because of the fact that in an economic decline, you do not push more people into poverty. Yes, people were saying, they will pay them compensation, this, that. That money they are using to pay compensation, do you know how many businesses it can lift up? Imagine the 10 billion naira they said they've paid on compensation alone. That money, do you know how it can be put to better use? Now that there is serious food inflation, that money can be used better instead of giving it out as compensation to people at this particular time that there is serious hardship. So after all the insistence by the government that they could fund this road, that the funding won't be a problem, that they must go on with the road, that it is very important, all the excuses they gave for continuing with the project. Now the government is coming back to reality little by little. First was the diversion after they hit submarine cables, which they would have seen if they conducted a proper environmental impact assessment report. After the diversion, they are now saying that they will no longer be able to afford to make the road as wide as 10 lanes, like they originally planned. Now they've reduced it to 6 lanes. So let's get this straight. After the government committed 1 trillion naira to the first phase of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, they quickly ran out of funds after not even completing up to 5 kilometers. They now realize that there's no funds to continue this project. That's why they reduced the size of the road.
Are you aware that the starting salary for a cybersecurity expert exceeds $100,000? Did you also know that many
They also realized that they do not have funds to maintain and rebuild other highways across the country. Just like the opposition pointed out at the initial stage, that it was better for the government to attend to existing federal highways to boost commerce instead of tankers and trailers falling on roads because they are unmotorable. Now they are seeking a fresh loan of $500 million from the World Bank to rebuild what they call rural roads. But we all know that the federal government owns all these federal highways. There's nothing like rural road, except they mean that these roads crisscross rural areas across the country. So the government have effectively turned around one 80 degrees, exactly what the opposition was hammering at the initial stage. But why are they doing it with loans? That's the problem. They could have diverted 1 trillion naira to maintain the interior roads instead of taking loans to do them. So it's too tiring trying to get into their mind to see how they reason. They do something, they take a decision, people criticize that decision, they come hard and insist, hey, we must do this is the right way. And after a few days, they turn around and do exactly what the opposition was telling them to do. And at the end of the day, the country suffers. Just like people have been saying, this coastal highway might not see the light of the day. It might be abandoned sooner than later. The Minister of Works already said that they expect to finish the first phase by middle of next year. So if it will take that long, nearly a year and 6 months to complete just 47 kilometers, you already know how long it will take to complete the rest, about 600 and something kilometers that is left. So it's as good as saying that this road will be abandoned. It will never see the light of the day. During the PDP days, Nigerians didn't witness this level of inconsistencies and trial and error from government. In fact, what you will give to PDP people at the time is the fact that they always employed professionals to manage the affairs of the economy and many other sectors. Yes, there was corruption at the time, but it pales in comparison to the level of corruption that we have now. During the PDP days, leaders did something please the people to pretend about doing something right. For the sake of doing it, make it look like government is working. But these days, they openly brag about being wrong. They brag upon the fact that they are incompetent. They put it to your face. You can't do anything. We are doing this. Only to turn full circle in a few days and do what they were advised to do at the initial stage. Nigerians bear the brunt of all this, all the wasted money, the wasted efforts, wasted time. They also lie shamelessly. Look at what is happening with the minimum wage negotiations with the organized labor. They say they can pay a living wage to Nigerian workers, but they lavish billions of naira on unnecessary projects that do not immediately impact on the lives of Nigerians. Like P2B said in that Arise TV interview, there are more than 20 million homeless Nigerians for now, but the government couldn't provide homes for them. Instead, they wasted 21 billion naira building a home for the vice president. So you can understand their priorities. And concerning the minimum wage negotiations with organized labor, no one actually knows the true situation right now, because Tinubu said that he will forward the bill to the National Assembly to pass. No one knows how much they will pass, whether it's still 62,000 they proposed, or whether they will come up to about 100,000 naira per month. It is very obvious that these workers were meant to attend this June 12 Democracy Day event because they were shouting minimum wage to his hearing. He won't pretend he didn't hear them. That's the difference between PDP days and now. Because if this were to be Obasanjo or even Goodluck Jonathan, workers were telling him directly, please pay us a living wage. He will do it for doing sake, even if it means sacking workers. Yes. What good does it make that people are working without earning anything? The salary to take them home. It doesn't make any sense. People are just doing it for the pensions. They are into serious debt. They manage, they do anything they can, even if it's just to eat once a day, just to maintain the job. It's because there's no job in the country. That's why people cling on the one they have. They have nowhere else to run. It is better to have this than have nothing. What are you going to do? Are you going to go to the farm? Insecurity will prevent you from farming. You will invest millions into farms, and one day cows will eat all the crops. They will eat all your investment. There's nowhere to run to. You want to focus on one business, you will see all the obstacles that were laid by the government. Yes, look at what they're doing with the exchange rate. Look at what they're doing with the customs exchange rate. How can customs exchange rate be 1,500 naira? Why? Customs is not supposed to be a revenue generating agency, especially when they know that Nigeria is an import dependent economy. They hire the customs duty, they hire the price of goods. No merchant will eat the cost. He will transfer the cost to the consumer. It's as simple as that. So like Sheikh Sani told Tinubu to his face, it is time to do the right thing. Even if all the people he appointed, all his associates around him, don't tell him the truth, that they always pre-sing for him and tell him what he wants to hear. Now, someone else has told him, he won't pretend that he didn't hear what the person said or that he didn't understand the person. Civil servants also told him at the Eagle Square grounds. So it is time to do the right thing. Thanks for watching.
I would like attention to this fact and this truth. The national cannot.
Are you tired of getting lowball cash offers for your house?
If I've changed my mind. On minimum wage. He's looking at me with.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine these people are laughing in your faces? Hell, Nigerians, so look at them laughing at you. So press this balablu fi open teeth laugh like this as he ugly rich. Hell, Nigerians, oh my God, they're not rating at all. Wow, this man get audacity to dey laugh. Ah, oh my God.
We work high. Nothing but about minimum wages. We're going to do it, but Nigeria can afford. A notice from me if I've changed my mind. On minimum wage. He's looking at me with, we work high. Nothing but about minimum wages. We're going to do it, what Nigeria can afford, what you can afford, what I can afford. That's to cut your coat according to your size. If you have size at all.
Tinubu and Akpabio laughing and mocking Nigerian workers who did nothing wrong. It is no fault of theirs that the same government, the same incompetent Tinubu, in his quest to increase revenue, devalued the naira, increased the cost of petrol, which has diminished the purchasing power of Nigerians, not just the ordinary worker out there. His trial and error policies have cost many Nigerians their jobs. Yes, thousands or millions of workers have been thrown into the unemployment market because of his trial and error policies. Many companies have left Nigeria as a result. Microsoft day, Facebook just downsized their workers. They sacked many Nigerian workers. They've also said that they will reduce the size of their workspace in Ikoyi. Will they be the next multinational to leave Nigeria? And to think that the people that caused all this, the people that brought this calamity on Nigerians, are busy mocking and laughing at Nigerians instead of being apologetic. How despicable. At least Shetima understood that it wasn't a laughing matter. That's why he wasn't laughing at all. Yes, it's not a laughing matter at all. People are going through serious hardship. And to think that Tinubu and Akpabio are laughing at Nigerian workers, this is clear proof that they don't mean well for Nigerians. The money doesn't belong to you. He's saying how much he can pay. No, Nigerian workers are working for the federal government. They are not working for you directly. They are not slaves. They're only asking that the government considers the hardship that they inflicted on Nigerians. Imagine if the naira wasn't devalued. Imagine if petrol price wasn't increased. There wouldn't be any need to pay anyone more than 40,000 naira as new minimum wage in 2024. Yes.
My fellow Nigerians.
Remember that Tinubu said in his June 12 Democracy Day address that he will forward the minimum wage bill to the National Assembly for approval. But the labor unions are saying no, that he must negotiate with them first before moving to the National Assembly, that they want to see the new minimum wage he approved. Also remember that the reason the labor unions paused the strike was because of the direct intervention by Tinubu. He promised to intervene and offer them a better minimum wage, better than the one the negotiating team offered. And now he's trying to betray that trust by not negotiating with labor, or at least telling them the new minimum wage he approved. Instead, he wants to move it quickly to the National Assembly without the people who are involved knowing how much is being approved for them. It doesn't make any sense. These people see themselves as demigods who are not elected by anyone, that they can't be held accountable by anyone. They are not responsible for anyone. They are just there to do whatever they want to do without recourse to the due process and the law. And the more people don't resist or protest, the more audacious they become. Look at all the hardship they brought on Nigerians. And despite the fact that they have refused to increase the minimum wage, they are already planning to buy 2 new jets for Shetima and Tinubu. Can anyone believe this? In this hardship, they say they don't have money to increase minimum wage, but they have money to buy new private jets for the presidency. Can this be real? How can they be borrowing to fund their frivolous lifestyles? The World Bank just approved a loan of $2.5 billion for them. Are people aware of all the borrowings the past 1 year alone? At the rate Tinubu is going, he will surpass all things Buhari did in 8 years in less than 3 years. Yes. There's another thing that is very wrong in the disparity of salaries paid to Nigerian civil servants. When you look at this chart prepared by Budget IT, you will see the lowest earning civil servant, how much he earns, about 35,000 naira. Now compare that salary to the highest civil servant of level 17, who is earning more than 500,000 naira per month. This disparity is very wide, unlike in Western countries, where the manager and all the workers below him that are in the same department, the disparity is not more than $100. Yes, they are doing the same jobs. Why should one earn 300,000 more than the other, or even in some cases 400,000 naira more than the other? It's not fair. If they employ professionals and pay them differently, maybe they are paying them as consultants, they won't work full time. It's understandable. But people in the same civil service, no. This huge disparity is why there is serious corruption. People will do anything to get promoted. They will do all sorts of backhand deals to get favors from people in power. Apply this disparity in salaries to the Nigerian police, the army, the air force, and other security agents, you will see that it is not fair. Soldiers in the front lines will be earning about 60 or 70,000 naira per month, while officers in office, maybe they wake up every day, go to the office, go to the barracks, move around, carry files around, they will be earning 200,000 naira per month. It's not fair to them. In fact, this is discriminatory. If they are doing this because of education, experience, and the time the person has put in the service, they need to set a minimum education requirement for employment. Most of these directors might have master's degrees or doctorates. If that's the case, they need to start employing master's degree holders as minimum so that they can pay them a living wage and close the gap in the disparity between level 17 and level 1.
No offense, but if you still think stocks, real estate, or crypto are
estimate based on the new minimum wage of 62,000 naira per month. That's assuming it's the amount they will finally settle for. And as you can see on the chart, level 1 workers will be earning around 65,000 naira per month, while level 17 civil servants will be earning as much as 1 million naira per month. That's a disparity of more than 900,000 naira per month. This is not acceptable. These people are doing the same jobs, just that one has spent longer time in the civil service and has become a director, and the other is just entering and has spent about 1 year or 2 years in service. That wide gap is just too much. And consider this, a new worker might just be the first job he's having in his life. He's just coming out from school and he needs to start saving on time because he's still young. It is when someone is young, he needs to start saving for his retirement. He needs to buy his own home. He needs to get married and raise his own family. He needs to pay his house rent. He needs to dress up. He needs to pay for transportation to come to work. So all this he needs to do while earning a paltry sum of 62,000 naira per month. And remember, this is just a civil servant. What about the officer? Some of them have stayed in the same rank for many years because of lack of education. They can't rise above that particular rank. You will see someone that is a constable or an inspector. He has spent several years, up to 10 years as an inspector. So this is the problem. If he's still an inspector, that means he'll be earning the same salary going forward. That's why they transfer their frustration to ordinary Nigerians. And they are not bothered that they are paid peanuts because they have a gun. They can always intimidate people and extort money from them. The government is aware of this. They are happy paying them peanuts because they know they make up more than 10 times their salaries every month. Yes, all the videos, all the reports on social media about police intimidation from the army, they are doing it because they know that the government can't do anything. After all, they are not paying them enough. They can't stop them from extorting money or making money. There was a time soldiers used to escort vehicles around the country, haulage trucks that move goods around the country. You see soldiers in the front seats escorting the vehicles, even passenger buses. Many soldiers used to escort them until the Army HQ banned them from escorting vehicles. Today, they have moved on to doing the job of the police. They handle civil cases. People call the army on fellow citizens who torture them and extort money from them. Soldiers set up roadblocks along major highways, especially in southern Nigeria. They use these toll gates to earn a lot of money, and these money are not their own alone. They always return to the high command because the high command won't say that they don't see all the soldiers are doing on major highways. So this is the problem. The government must take responsibility. If these people are paid living wages, it doesn't necessarily mean that the corruption, despite the fact that they are earning enough, but at least the government should do their part and take the fight against corruption seriously. If there is no consequence for any crime, people will continue committing crime. In fact, they will be motivated that nothing will happen. We will go and return. Any operation we are back on, we will go and succeed and come back and plan for another one tomorrow. But when they know that they will not return, that no one has ever returned more than 1 year, they will think twice before committing any crime. Thanks for watching.
My people, I don't even know. This is so sad. This is so sad. I'm telling you guys. Hmm? Nigerians just be like people when they go capture, put them inside the one warehouse. Then they wait for, when they go on alive them. Hi, this thing dey pain me. I'm so angry. I'm so upset. These people they laugh at Nigerians. I mean, how much humiliation can you take as a people before you push back? Eh? The audacity, the infantry. Now, so this same fat buffoon sit down for Senate, they share message for email to people. They laugh Nigerians. We are still here. Hmm? We are still here. What is it going to take? I don't understand. What is it going to take? Hmm? They've abandoned, they cannot continue the coastal highway lanes. They've abandoned it. They can't. They've abandoned it. Eh? They cannot continue the coastal highway when they tell you when they go destroy landmark for. They go destroy the thing patapata. Eh? Now they've abandoned it. This man that built his business has lost money. Who is going to compensate him? I guarantee you they're not going to compensate that man. All the money, all the investments when he make for there now, it go turn to zero. How can we continue like this, Nigerians? How can you be sleeping and your house is on fire and nobody's putting it out? It's like a video I saw where Nigerians gathered and they were praying. How fire, their house, they catch. Nigerians, they pray. Oh God, oh, oh, Salubwa. Ethno-religious bigotry, na dey hold them. No be still bewitchment be that. when person go feel say na im own tribe na im superior pass to the other, I no even understand. For the whole world, we no even, dem no rate us as anything for the whole world. So all dis ethno-religious na within us o, dem no send us message. Who dey suffer am na which ethnic group dey enjoy na pass? Abeg make una, if any ethnic group dey wey dey enjoy, abeg make una tell me, because me no know. All the ethnic groups now, na dem no dey fit buy bread, some even worse pass some own. Which ethnic group dey enjoy with the ethno-religious o? Which one? Even the religious people, how many of them dey enjoy? Me I no know o. Tracy, you dey talk about next election. Omo, me I keep saying this and I will keep repeating it. I don't see an election happening in Nigeria anytime soon. I don't see it. I'm sorry. I don't see an election in 2027 with a completely captured state, with a bala blue that is laughing at you, laughing at Nigerians in their faces because they are asking for minimum wage, they are asking for increase. NLC and TUC F up big time. They've always been a disappointment. You know what I think? The government uses NLC and TUC. Shebi their leader go Switzerland that day. Everybody keep quiet. The man go jollof for Switzerland. Put strike on hold. They suppose resume am on Tuesday. Wetin dey tell una? They say, oh, no more. They no dey do any protest again. NLC, when suppose hold their ground, say no, make it better for everybody. Then, God, Nigeria, chai, I don't know. It's so sad, when you look at Nigerian situation, you can't just but be bothered. Sometimes I wonder, true, they say the people get what they deserve. I'm beginning to believe that, really, because there is no normal. It's not normal for people to just relax and you are not bothered about what is going on. It's not normal. It's not normal at all. With all the suffering wey dey go on, at least body go dey pepper you. You go dey say no, this is too much. Everybody go gather themselves. You won't even need anybody to tell you. You just gather yourselves and say, yes, indeed, this is too much. We cannot carry on like this. But people are suffering. You see, when Fela sing suffering and smiling, he saw years. He saw years. Suffering and smiling. He saw years ahead, centuries ahead. Nigerians have been suffering and smiling for the longest time. All they care about is survival. They don't even know say that survival mode when they not be normal survival mode. They are animals, they live better than Nigerians. It's sad to say it, but it is the truth. Yeah, Tracy, no, I mean, I hear you. It's just me, my own personal opinion. But I hear you. For next election, they go even survive. How many of them fit survive how many years of election? How many, truly and honestly, how many can survive it? How many? It's sad though. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's so freaking sad. Which way, Nigeria? Which way? How can this kind of suffering, these buffoons are laughing in your face? Nigerians, una body dey hot. Wetin dey happen? If small pikin steal bread for market, na so una go put tire for im neck. Na una don unalive am. See una thieves for front of una no fit touch dem. Hey God, abeg o. It is so doomed, it's not even funny. The way e take doom, the way this country is so doomed, I don't even know how to describe it. I don't know how to describe it. fire dey catch people dey sleep. People dey sleep as fire dey catch. See am, Tinubu meet FBI director, seek stronger collaboration to fight cyber crimes, terrorism. Cyber crime and terrorism, which one important pass? So now these people won't get access to everything about na opportunity be this, so to wreak more havoc. Before you know wetin happen, they'll tell you say they wan do vaccine. Oh God. Oh, when Nigerians ready, they will stand up and fight too, because I don't know what else to say. Eh? Eh? I don't know. Look at even in the democracy day. Look at how much this man spent for celebration, where people are unaliving because of hunger. This man had the audacity to be spending money to celebrate a nonsense demo. We don't even have a democracy. We don't have a democracy in Nigeria. I don't know why people keep saying, oh, we don't have. What we've had all this time is fascism. All we've had all this time is fascism. We don't have a democracy. We have been lying to ourselves. Eh? See you. I don't understand Nigerians. I really don't. Kudos to the people that are doing the grassroots work. Kudos to them, that are doing the grassroots. I'm really, really praying for them, to continue to spread it like wildfire, because there seems to be some level of encouragement there. People are going around and sharing the news like it's like evangelism that they are doing. It's like evangelism. By the way, on a lighter note, they don release very dark man the guy don drop video. Abeg, make I play this one. On a lighter note, abeg make I take this one take cool my brain down. Very dark man Jesu. What is he coming to spill? Let's hear.
All right. As you all know, I almost spent 1 month in detention because of a lot of circumstances. The first thing I want to say is I want to give a special shout out to the MPF NCCC, the cybercrime units. You people should do well to follow them. You see those people, while I was in detention, I'm not even going to lie to you. If you see work where those guys, they do, the kind of money where they help people, they collect, man, it's crazy. It's so sad I was in their own cell, but I saw the job that they were doing. So do well to follow them. That's number one, right? Support them because they help me fight cases, and they use them till they collect people money, people where they scam their money. Now, that's by the way. Number two, right? This thing about defamation of character, cyber stalking, and all that. I sincerely don't think the police should be involving themselves in all those kind of things, because go look the advanced country. You understand? You say person do this one, you go sue the person. Do you understand? Why are the police involving themselves in gossips? This one say, this one say, this one say. Do you understand? Sue. Then if the person doesn't appear in court, then the courts go order, may they go bring the person. Do you understand? Now, me, I have 5 counts against me, right? I have 5 counts against me. Number 1, Sam Cliff. Number 2, Tonto Dike. Number 3, Iyabo Ojo. Then, of course, the police, right? If you remember, the first time I was detained, okay, I talked something about the DIGs, I was detained. But guess what? After that, I was taken to the Inspector General of Police. Now, when I got there, this man spoke to me like a son. Look, say, okay, he get influence, he get the power to do and undo, He spoke to me like a son. You understand? Fight for something good. If you have a problem, come, bring your petition. Do you understand? We'll sign your petition. Then I told him, I said, sir, if I bring petition to the police, they always take time. You understand? Sometimes they don't respond. Then he said, from today, bring your petition. If you don't do it, come to me. Spoke to me like a father. Do you understand? But sadly, it was still in the case. You understand? Now, apart from the police, because I did like this, so me and police now get problem. Like I said, they help me help people. Do you understand? As I did like, there's no money one to go collect online for person. If they scam you, no bother yourself. I will collect that money. Do you understand? The connection don't day. The police are willing to work with me any day, anytime. Do you understand? But you see those other 3 people were there for the counts. Yabo just say a very dark man said that me and my daughter we did knock one man to get money and this one, that one. You and your daughter they do am. Una they do am. Because if you can come online to come and say my papa.
Ha! Now wow! Hey! Everywhere go scatter. Yeah. What did they happen? Very dark man. Now wow! Basket mouth. What did he just say? Sorry, I don't know who entered studio. Come out, I don't see. Before I come, the person don't disappear. Hello, I better come back to studio. Hey, Egbami. I bet Mona no verse. I want to rewind this thing small. I miss some better.
Yabo just say a very dark man said that me and my daughter we did knock one man to get money and this one, that one. You and your daughter they do am. Una they do am. Because if you can come online to come and say my papa knock animal, take bomb me. They call my mama animal, my papa animal. Wow. And you say you and your daughter go stay because you be queen mother. Ogun buy you. Ogun buy you, Yabo. Ogun go buy you. Adam to the court case. Totodike say he called me just lover. What are you? I just lover now. Me and you there for police station. At the right statement, you snap me. Police told you to delete it. First of all, you are not supposed to take your phone inside that station. Not talk of a room where they are writing statements. They want you to delete it. Next thing we see the post on this lover page, and you open your sock away. They talk say, he tell you that this lover Ogun buy you too. Ogun buy you too. You understand? And guess what? Since I said that you are just lover, what's happened? Just lover, no, they drag anybody online again. I don't shut those ones down. I did it. Do you understand? Now they are a regular blog. They don't carry people's matter again. For you to know, say I don't shake them. They don't even fear me. These people don't post me as I did say. Normally they go jubilate. They fear. They're scared of the outcome. Do you understand? They're scared of the outcome. They fear video. Yes. I said what I said. Tonto Dike, that's who you are. May the best lawyer win in court. And as for Sam Clef, when I dare here, Sam Clef going to cost me up and down. Me, I'm not going to sue nobody. Do you understand? I'm a public figure now, for crying out loud. Why I go to person insult me, I go to invest? No, I can't do that. I'm not sue nobody. If you like, cost my mama and my papa. My revenge, I go revenge. I'm not going to sue you now. I big pass that one. It's called no, my mouth's there. Let you talk, I will talk. Do you understand? For the police, you know we have to work together. You people are my guys. You understand? Anybody will get problem, may file lawsuits. Police, you people should stop letting all these kind of things happen. I did cybercrime. I see people recovered over 4 billion for inter-switch flutter waves. See different money one they recover. All these women will come carry distraction, given all these celebrities who pack nonsense, come the distraction and say na cybercrime. He said that I do this. Can't you sue? Go to the court. Don't be disturbing our police for garbage. When I go back to that court again, I'll go now. See, the only way this thing end, now beg me. Now tell man who verse. Because prior to all this, before Tonto Dike posted my picture, I never called her name for once. Do you understand? I never called her name for once. Posted my picture for what? Do you understand? If not be relationship I get with police, I'm supposed to sue police for my information to go out. Yes, now I'm supposed to sue police. But I ain't gonna do it because I don't sue people. I don't know, for me, I look and say, nah, I still say bomb me, but not they do suing. But yeah, but Joe, they go. Now go tire. Now go tire. The only way if I beg me, hey, no verse. No verse, so say we talk say your mama na animal, okay. Then I'll come say, hey, yeah, but nice one, my dear. You understand? Nice one, my dear. All those respect, you don't lose them. You know, I don't see you as I see you like Tata. There's no respect. I don't accord no respect for you no more. Because you ain't got respect for yourself. So peace and love. You all gonna learn. You know when I say if you come for me, you are the victim. If I come for you, you are the victim. You know, I don't even understand why. It is because they fear me. Regardless, you fear what I'm gonna say. Because you all know I don't cap. And I'm no liar. Get the
Yeah. Really? This man level don't turn, we don't go up. Oh. You know, see the confidence when you take the top now. Now, wow. People get levels for that Nigeria. Oh. Can you imagine? Eh? Hell, Nigeria don't turn upside down. Hey, I say this is the land of my birth. Oh, I say Nigeria is the land of my birth. Hmm? I say Nigeria, oh my Nigeria. I say it is the land of my birth. They don't turn am upside down. Nothing makes sense anymore. Nobody gets justice anymore. It's on a free fall. Look at what David Udeni came to tell us in that interview. The airspace is not safe. Ground no safe. Nobody is safe in that country. Sometimes e go dey cross my mind when people dey go airport go Nigeria, I go dey say God, Nigeria airways is so porous that anybody fit carry anything enter that country, dem no go stop am. All the person need to do is just squeeze $20 put for the person hand, that's it, e don go. E don go. If the person say okay o, im go just target one this thing like this. When e enter, all he has to do is just squeeze $10, $20. Hey God, the thought of it alone. Land not safe, air not safe, water sef not safe. They no dey take care of the water, they no dey take care of anything. It's just on a free fall. All these people care about na to wear smelly agbada. I'm not sure say those people dey baff. I'm sorry o, all your representatives, senators, all the government officials, they be like who they be like say dem dey smell, they be like who no dey baff. Anytime I see them, they look filthy in my eyes. I don't know whether it's only me that is seeing it o. All I see is dirty, dirty, dirty. That's all I see. Dirty, dirty. All of them dirty. I don't know whether they dey baff. I'm telling you, Victory. Tracy, the country no normal o. E no normal. My sister, e don enter. See, if they fit carry Nigeria enter Yaba left, that's what Nigeria needs. The levels of treatment wey Nigeria need, psychiatric treatment, mental health treatment, no be here. Victory all the way. NLC and their brother don sell Nigeria waka. I'm telling you. You know say the NLC leader, abi wetin dem dey call am, NLC chairman, abi kí ló ń pè, that short man wey dem mold, when they put hands on for Abia state, when he go out, is it Abia or Imo state, right? The guy he go Switzerland right after that protest. After they don pause the protest, the guy go Switzerland. As they go Switzerland, they put the strike on suspension. They say they go resume on Tuesday, or they change now to when Tuesday reach. The government is working pari passu with NLC. All that one wey they can't do na flenjo. Now just to make people feel say that they do something na lie. They are under the employ of the government to cause some type of distraction propaganda to make you feel like, yes, these people are really wanting to fight for us, so they're really getting there, they really want to. It's a lie. Now fabu, they are not fighting for you, they are not interested in you, they don't care about you. They are an arm of the government that they use to use veil to cover your eye, to make you think. Because the people that are in NLC, who put them there? Is it not the same Bara Blue government? They are hand selected. And you think they're going to put someone that's going to cause problems for them? No. The man has pocketed everybody, because guess what? Your leaders are corrupt. All they think about is material things. Any surprise why slavery was successful? There's no time I think about that and my mind does not go back to slavery. This is why it was successful, because the same people who sold their brothers and sisters that time, they're still alive. They born children now. Back then, they go born like plenty. Their blood see they flow for people veins. Here we are. How much be money when they go give you? When we say most of them, they're not they even spend the money finish before they buy go the other side. Look at how much money was recovered for person house. They enter person house. The person dig ground for a house, bury money inside. Money decay. To tell you how wicked your leaders are. They're not going to spend that money finish. In fact, even if they have children that they leave that money for, their children know they spend the money well. Now that money now they be the end of their children because they don't know how to work for anything. Look at Bala Blue's son, for instance, the children. You know they see them, they be like dons. They be like don't know anything, no vision. They all be like shadow, like ghost, nothing going in, nothing going out. All na papa arrange am for them. Becoming a chairman in a company you know nothing about. Everybody fold hand, they look. Well, now here I dey follow them look because I cannot do more than myself. One person cannot do it all. One person cannot do it all. We need people to come together and say, you know what, when we enter this thing one time. Exactly. Educated people. Victory. Educated people. Do you know right now, anybody that calls themselves a professor, na side eye I think they look them. I have lost respect for anyone with a PhD behind their name. I have lost complete respect for them. They be like, whether the book when they read it too much, they not fit think correctly again. I don't know. I think sometimes too much school dey affect people brain. I have to confess. I have to say that. Not confess because me, I don't have a PhD. Too much school dey affect people head. They know, and this school when they go, you know, say na their this thing, na the palm color people school that they go. Whether they brainwash them, get level where they reach, they'll start to brainwash them because they turn on their people. How do you explain professors when supposed to count, make sure say votes are counted correctly? Children would have done a better job. Children when they did secondary school would have been more honest. They put old men almost to go, equal to go, like 80-year-old, 7-year-old professors. They rig election. See the man when he rig election for which state? Na Imo State abi here, I no even know which one of the eastern states. Compare that to the Dr. Oti lady. That one stand her ground, say lie, this is the time that my people will be saved. She stood her ground, she refused. You can imagine the threat to that woman's life. She was like, if I perish, I perish. My people must be saved. What are they enjoying today? Alex Oti, they have peace now. But compared to the other man, almost all of them that collected bribe to rig this election. What? In fact, I don't even know his name. That's how irrelevant they become. Now until they use eraser. When you use pencil write something, you can't use eraser to erase everything. Now so their names be. Those ones now go born children. You want tell me, I'm sure they have children. One of them, their children go become like them in the future. You see the problem? You see how the problem they go on and on? No re-education, nothing. No learning, no unlearning, nothing. They don't even know history of themselves. They don't know where they come from, where they are going. Their history is full of rogues, bandits, terrorists, thieves, drug dealers. Please, how will those people become good citizens tomorrow? What about the NYSC students? I mean NYSC people that they gave $500, some they gave $200. The dollar rate never wipe out all the money when they give them. They buy bag of rice, buy bag of beans. How many times they go chop am? They go don't chop or finish now because the money is gone. The money is gone. For what? This is how morally decadent Nigerians have become. Did you ever think that as Nigerians we will get to a place today where looking at your country is almost unrecognizable? Unrecognizable. Thank you very much. Which of them go Geneva? which of them go okay, be like say na Geneva they go for International Labour Conference. Yes, God go bless you with another huge delegation. Meanwhile, people they starve for house. They no fit go their farms. They can't make money, they can't feed themselves. This is how much, this is where they pushed Nigerians to. Thank you very much, Tracy. Fake certificate, most of them Oluwole certificate. What's the name of that lady that claimed she went to certain schools and had certain certificates or whatever, only to discover that the girl, it was all fake certificate? Making those of us that struggled, went to school, read, whether e enter our head, e no enter, we shall read down. We manage. By the grace of God, we pass to comot. E come make us feel like say make they come use the brush, the paint brush take paint all of us join. Is that not a shame? People when go school, they don collect how much? 10 million. They probably will never, they no go ever fit spend that money finish in their lifetime. Even when their children inherit the money, na that money na dey perish them in the end, because they go take am take do what? Drugs. They go take am take do wetin dem no suppose take am do, become something else. The name of their fathers, their parents will be wiped out. Nobody go remember. Exactly. God go bless you. I'm not sure say, you know say that they carry, that they buy those certificates. Not because Kwasia they say get PhD, right? Only to find out that he said he got his PhD where? India, be where? I've been in one obscure country like that. Now buy, now most of these people they buy certificates. Not say they get honorary. Oh God, Nigeria is a joke now. Oh my, it's a shame. Oh, now my country now just can't dig ground like this. Nigeria, be say nobody they hungry for Nigeria. You will not see a hungry man in the streets of Nigeria. Say waiting. Even the beggars when we get, they are not even Nigerians. They come from Chad. They are the same Fulanis now that are claiming inheritance in a land that they don't own. When they want call the major tribe now, Hausa, Fulani, Yoruba, Igbo, the rest na be bullshit. The real original people for Nigeria, they no dey even mention them. How many ethnic groups you get for Nigeria? Over 250. But na only Hausa, Fulani, Yoruba, Igbo, and na dem be the major problems for the country. Now you would think that it's the smaller tribes that should be making noise because they are not big, right? You go expect say the smaller tribes they go dey make, now they go dey agitate. The big ones are trampling on us, the so-called big ones, because every time I say it, I don't know who make them major. As far as I'm concerned, there are no major tribes in Nigeria because we were once kingdoms. We were once kingdoms. Every tribe was a kingdom. So how do you now make them try? I mean, that's an insult in and of itself. People have been erased. Ethnic groups have been absorbed and erased for nothing. Greed, gluttony. They no dey carry the money go heaven. They no dey carry am go anywhere. Na here e go dey. Some of them go don go dig ground. They go don go desert, go dig desert, put money for there in the hope that when they look at Abacha, till today they still dey recover Abacha loot. Na oyibo country na dey carry the money go. Na the money na dey service their land. All the Switzerland, Geneva, when people dey run dey go. Now na Nigerian money they take dey beautify their country. Meanwhile, your country is a slum officially. It has become a slum. I don't care if you own a 250 million house. I don't care if you have a $1 billion house. It is a slum. You live in a slum. You people don't have elites. Nigerians do not have elites. They are all trash. Trash. All of them trash. Filthy bunch of people. The government, the so-called crappy elites. Filth. My brother, I use that one take relax. So and you go tell me, I dey here every day. Now you go tell me, I no fit by myself now. I must to at least listen to something else to wash my brain small. So my brother, abeg you go bear with me. Because Nigeria matter, na hard matter. So when I fit, I go use am take cool myself down. So abeg. I need them. Eh? You not see the fake dog? Which one be that? A recent one? Tracy. Hey God. Now recent one, I'm not sure say I see that story. Hey, Eunice, welcome. Greetings to you, sis. Good to have you. Thank you for stopping by. I never see that story. Oh. Tracy, now today it happened. How? Nigeria PhD can be arranged. I'm telling you, they buy them. They buy PhD. They're not they read for them. If who know who, clearly that's what's going on. Your thesis can be sent to your supervisor, colleagues in another Nigerian university. I'm telling you, it's all BS. They should stop talking about PhD. Back in the day, yeah, I remember back in the day, they used to send them to professors in the fields of study out of the country for evaluation. Yep, you're right. Back in the day. But here we are. Oh yeah, I know. I think I missed that story. Oh. For where it happen? Wow, Nigeria, what a joke. That country has become a joke. Huh? Oh yeah, I saw that one about the fake lawyer. The fake lawyer, I think, was it where was it? Which state was it? The fake lawyer, which state was it? Oh, that they discovered it was a isn't that the same thing that happened? Was it Uganda or Kenya? The fake lawyer, but I heard the fake lawyer has gone back to school to get his own law degree. That one that they caught in Kenya, at least that one a smart guy. At least he don't go, he don't say like the profession. He don't go, improve on himself. I'm telling you, Kene, Lucky Luxury, you cannot drink the water. You have to buy. People can't drink water in Nigeria. You have to buy. People are spending money buying, the ones that can afford it too. They are spending money buying bottled water and they are crying. They cry as they buy the bottled water. Oh, Salopwa. Oh my God, Nigeria. Hey, people when they say Banana Island, they go say it's the most, and that's a new place when they build on top of water. It's that they call them, right? All those places, all of them, bullshit, all BS, BS, na be all filthy. You are building a 250 million, 1 billion on top of what's it called? On top of water that can crash land anytime. It can take over your houses. Very soon, water will cover the whole of Lagos. It's just a matter of time. Eh? They buy, yet you cannot buy water, no electricity. You buy 250 million house, 1 billion, almost 1 billion. You cannot provide electricity. The amount of diesel that they'll be spending money on. Okay, fine. Maybe they do solar panels. Solar panel need to be charged now. I be not be so they talk am. You need to charge it at least when the sun is out, right? Right? Yeah, please, somebody tell me if I'm wrong. Eh? It's crazy. How can we continue like this? And Nigerians are just moving on as though, you know what, it's okay, there's nothing happening. So, I mean, come on, it's not normal. I cannot wait for when Nigerians will wake up and turn everywhere upside down. I really can't. I can't wait because this is it's so sad to watch. It's actually heartbreaking to watch, to see my country in real time just disintegrating. I can't believe my eyes. Nigeria, when you go, there's no hungry person in Nigeria. There's not such thing as homelessness. We don't have IDP camps. People are staying in internal displaced camps in your own country. Hey, abomination. This kind thing, they go carry sacrifice for the gods. They go say no. Eh? The gods are offended. The people have sinned against the land. We have to cleanse the land. Do you know how many cleansing will need to take place in Nigeria? 1 year not reach to cleanse the land. 1 year. Because you know why? You see why Nigeria, the way Nigeria is, the land, the earth itself is angry. The earth is angry. So anything when anybody they plant, they reject them. That's why all these companies are going. They are all uprooting and leaving. Yes, it is as a result of the government policies not working, all of that. But the land, the earth itself is revolting. You can't build anything on it. I feel sorry for those people that are doing business. It has to be impossible to do business in Nigeria. You will just be losing money. You'll be losing money. Like tap, when you turn on the tap and the water is coming out, that's how the money will just be going out. Just be going out. Eh? It's crazy. Thank you, Eunice. Thank you very much. It's crazy. What are we doing? Nigeria, my country. When we say you go, you go village, everywhere go serene, your body go calm down. You know, body. I know they answer my phone when I go village. I know they even remember where phone dey. I know they remember where phone dey. Wait oh. I see one video just now. I not see this one oh. Okay, let me play this one for you people. Now, today is Friday. We are not in a hurry. If you want to come and share your thoughts, please enter the studio. I think I have to share my link again, but this is crazy, man.
And away from that, the Nigerian military authorities have taken a swipe at the governor of Zamfara state over comments that political interference was inhibiting troops from ending insecurity, especially in his state. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Boba, says the state government has failed to provide an enabling platform for security forces to coordinate operations against bandits. Sifon Isien reports.
We had all these special forces sent to Zamfara with all the latest technology and everything. But the issue now is they also have limitation because they were told not to cross certain.
The Zamfara state governor's remarks now appear to be ruffling the military authorities.
To effectively take care of security situation in the country, they have the ability to do that. However, the major challenge here is political interference.
But the military, on the other hand, also has an axe to grind.
It must be noted that despite the state being the epicenter of kidnapping, according to his words, the state has no internal security platform for security forces to coordinate operations. You will find these platforms in other states which do not have as much security concerns or situations as Zamfara State in this case.
Beyond picking holes, the military authorities understand the importance of community support for its operations.
Winning the war without the support of the people of the state is close to impossible. Indeed, I would say winning the war without the support of the governor is even more impossible.
Security forces have lost 15 lives combating gunmen in Zamfara since the beginning of the month. For the military authorities, community support is key if troops must succeed in combating the security challenges. Sifon Isien, TVC News.
I don't know. I think I kind of see the point that he's making, because these people have brothers and sisters. It's like a family thing, right? So you know how the loyalty runs in the north. So when they're trying to combat these security issues, there'll be people even within their community that will stop them from, doing anything about it. So I kind of, I think I understand where the military personnel is coming from. I can't call that propaganda. I can't, in the spirit of fairness, call that propaganda. Yes, even though TVC is not my favorite station, I mean, I had to bring it up for that, because I saw that they were They are criticizing him all over. Okay, I've seen a couple of videos where they're talking about criticizing him for coming out to say that security is an issue. But they need to get to work, right? They need to get to work. If your society is not saying, why are they the military? I don't understand. What is the job of the military? Is it not to secure the country? Even the police, okay, let's assume the police, they don't get the kind of equipment and resources when the soldiers get. But the military is supposed they make sure say that they do their work. Do you understand? To make sure they fish these people out. How can the country be taken over by insecurity and nobody is doing anything about it? It does not make sense. Is it the policemen that are using a nylon bag to turn to belts and faded uniform? Now you want to go dey wrestle with, they're not, some of them not even get, they not even get tools to use for their work. Not be one that day, not be one get rake. They tell her they rake for in front. That girl fearless. So you see these trigger happy people, you just dey rake for the man front. Eh? I don't know. In Nigeria matter, I don't know. Until Nigerians go wake up by themselves, decide say enough is enough. I don't know. Ha. Tracy, not be true. Na lie. Not be nylon bag that they use. Egba mi. I don't see them now. They go use nylon bag, that long one. I don't know. Maybe they tie am. Till you come long. They'll come use and hold their trousers up because no belt. Very scruffy looking. Na slippers that they wear, bedroom slippers. In fact, I saw one video with one wey wear bedroom slippers. The slippers cut for back. E don wear am, e don flat, e cut. Do you understand? So when you think about it, you know, that's how they dress now. And they go dey hustle 5 naira, 20 naira, 10 naira, 15 naira, 100 naira. Now they hustle. They don't even pay them. I don't think they even pay the police anymore. Now traffic, now they say they make their salary. And the money when they gather for any traffic stop, then they carry and go meet their organ and they share them. That's what is being said, allegedly. That's what's going on. So the system, there's a complete breakdown of law and order. We are watching the complete decapitulation of Nigeria right before our eyes in our own time. And we are the ones bearing the brunt of it. Can you imagine? I think that the name Nigeria itself is problematic. That's where the problem comes from. It's very problematic. Niger area, Niger, I mean, come on, when you think about it. The people that even made it that turned into that, they didn't mean well. The spirit of it is bad. We need to a complete overhaul of that country, change the name, fling that name Nigeria away. I'm telling you. Give it a new identity. It don't turn to asylum now. Absolutely. Crazy people don't take over the asylum. The patients don't take over the asylum. He not lie. No lies detected there. How long are we continue to watch the country just going down? Nobody is doing anything. Everybody just sit down, they look. I went on somebody's face that lives in Nigeria yesterday, and we're talking because anyway I go, I know they fit. I can't help myself. I must talk about Nigeria matter. Now the guy they tell me say, and they tell her say, come, una dey Nigeria, which una they do? People on Twitter space, what people tweeting about? This is where they happen for Nigeria, no they affect you now. Well, yam, full yam, when they buy how much before? Una no dey fit buy am again, na half yam dem dey sell. Is that not enough outrage? You know what the guy said to me? I should come to Nigeria. I should let him know when I'm coming to Nigeria so that me and him can go and start the protest. I said, really? Is that what you have to say? I said, guess what? The diaspora is already doing so much. You know how much I send money, and you know how much I send home every day? You know how many people I'm helping? And then on top of that, different people will come up, send you DMs. You know that are doing real work in Nigeria. There's a lady in Jos that's in charge of the orphans where they've been displaced in their internally displaced camps, the IDP camps that they have, right? The woman needs sanitary pads for the children, no running water. They have to go to school. She has to pay the teachers that are coming to teach a couple of hours in a day so that the children are not bored. when they are sick, they have to take care of them, find ways to take care of those children. That woman constantly needs help. Recently, she said, I think they did a school back to school drive with bags, money, books and all, so that they can learn. Got a well for them to get drinking water in, and then she was saying that they don't have any bathrooms. Those kids don't have any bathroom. When they want to use the bathroom, they have to go outside. Some of them are afraid, because of the trauma from, their parents have been unalived and all of that. So many issues going on. Most of the girls are growing up, you have to worry about their security and concern because no, there's help there. Eh? How many penalties? How many diaspora is carrying so much already? Can tell you for free. A lot of diasporans are busy running around trying to put money together, helping the ones they can help, doing the grassroots work. They have people on the ground sending money so that they can print in different languages and spread around, explain to the people. There's an active evangelism going on. Are you kidding me? You're still calling diasporas? What are you freaking doing? What are you people doing in Nigeria? When I just fold hand, they wait for diaspora to come and do everything. You're having the audacity to tell me to come. Do you know what I am doing? Do you know the time and energy I put in? You think I don't have anything better to do with my time? If person want listen to all these people, person will just wash your hand comot. But Nigeria not let me wash hand comot because you no fit allow some people wey no know better stand in the way of your fight for your own country, because only one country we get, we no get two. If kasala burst today, they say oya everybody outside papa name, where you go run go? No be the same Nigeria as e bad reach. If we no fight for our life, we no fix the problems. Now when we wan fix am, we dey postpone the evil day, the day when I don't know what it will take, but I know say that time dey come because the squeeze is getting so much. Look at them laughing at you, laughing at Nigerians, asking for minimum wage, and in the same breath they are talking about buying a new aircraft for the president. They are building house of 21 billion for your vice president that looks like a ranch, that looks like an abandoned house in a forest. No forestry, no trees, nothing, no greenery. On top of that one, they are borrowing on top of your children's children when they don't know when they go born, they don't borrow on top of their head. Recent borrowing, $2.25 million from the World Bank. That's not funny. It's not a joke. They've been borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. In the same breath, there's some legislators that are traveling to Kogi State. They went to Hajj. Where they see money when they say they go Hajj? Where they see money? People they hungry. People no dey see food chop, no water, nothing. Did they not designate how many billions did they designate to build wells in the north? How many of the wells you don't see? Apart from the ones where Peter Obi go do by himself, how many wells you don't see when these people build? It's crazy. How can we continue like this? Ha! Now, wow, I don't know. It's really, really sad. It's sad where Nigeria is. As a people, as Nigerians, we need to be very worried and we need to put our money where our mouth is. We cannot abandon the country. I don't care how you feel about it. We gotta keep talking. We have to keep shouting. We have to keep shouting. Your VP, the one that they say is VP. That one is talking about God. I don't even fit talk. The man is almost non-existent, like he's not there. Not be the talk say I be tied in security and Bola Tinubu in charge of economy. All of them, the Dobale by all their plans don't Dobale. What are they doing about it? It has Dobale. I will hit the floor running. I will hit the floor running. You used to run, they kaput. Frivolities. I'm telling you, they go share them now. They go share am. You know, say as they laugh, they don already plot on how they go take share that money. Yaya Bello when dey Nigeria with them, they never fit arrest am. The man not travel out of the country. He dey inside that country. They keep moving his court date. They even dey beg am. They dey beg am. They dey beg the cabal people. Make they tell am. Make they tell am. Make he come report. Say he no look good on Nigeria. Can you imagine? Hey, hey! I've seen evil, all kinds of evil under the sun in my lifetime. I never thought I could see. My eyes were naive for a long time. My eye don open. I say, wow, this level of evil dey exist for this world where we dey so. People just dey do anyhow, don't dey do gali. Nobody cares about the people. Nobody is interested about the livelihood of the people. Nothing. When they want to drive past their neighborhood, they go put tinted glasses for their car so they don't see the evil on the outside that they are doing to the people. And some people will come out, oh, they are billionaires. Where are they, please? Which billionaires? Anybody wey be billionaire for Nigeria suppose keep quiet. May not dey talk. May dey hide. They say, let them not notice me. You cannot be because part of the problem of or part of the problem is say those people have siphoned from the system and not giving back. That's why you see the level of poverty that you're seeing. Most of them don't have good drinking water, good schools, good roads in their villages, but they are billionaires. Is that a billionaire? Is that a billionaire? You have all this money. What have you done for your people? How have you impacted them? How have you moved your community forward? How have you raised them up? How have you improved their lives? They don't have anything to show for it. All they do is come on social media and be flaunting for you. They're driving the latest car, wearing the latest wristwatch, the latest cap that is not made in your country, by the way. Now outside they take make am. Anything wey palm color people do na is superior for their eye. To even patronize their own, they hard. That's how much they detest each other. Until we wake up and realize that the only way we can win this battle is to come together as one and put all sentiments aside. Because guess what? Agbado is suffering. The Emilokons are suffering. They are the ones that hunger is even wiring the more. They've marginalized most of the West. They've marginalized it. I'm sure you people saw the video of where they were sharing spaghetti to all these old women. Very soon they will open the spaghetti and be giving them one. You go reach that stage if people not do the needful. Yeah? Abeg o, me I don talk my own finish o. Now Aluta continue o. We continue to move forward. Wetin person go do? I can't do more than this. Na mouth I go take talk. I go do the one I fit do. The rest I leave it to because omo na who get power na dey think about how I want to fight the next day. So now my people, make I leave una o. Make una enjoy una weekend well o. Please, if you have not yet please like the video, share the video, subscribe if you have not yet subscribed o. Let's move the ministry forward. We have a country to deliver from the shackles of hell. Tracy, thank you very much for staying with me. I really appreciate it. It was really nice having you. Kene, thank you so much for your support. Misty, thank you, darling. I appreciate you. Highly favored, thank you. Kene beat you today. Oh. Hi. Highly favored does not mind anyway. She doesn't mind, And Mr. Dr. Chike, Victory, every one of you. I beg if I don't mention your name, look no verse. I gotta go. But thank you so much, and I'll see you guys on my next one. Be safe out there and keep cool. Bye. Tracy, thank you. Bye.